Mm, 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 mm. All right, everybody. I'm gonna give everybody time to get in. TikTok does this to me every time, and you would think I will learn my lesson. But good morning, everybody. Let's make sure YouTube's up. Yes, it is. Let's check Facebook. Oh, here come the planes. Jesus. Um, let's see. Okay, there we go. Doo, doo, doo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So today we're gonna go over the dispute process. Well, I can hear it in my ear. There we go. So we're gonna go over the dispute process. Pretty much, a lot of the questions that I've been getting in the last week or so has been centered around what's the most important part, or how do I get started, or oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Here we go. I don't know how I didn't get this up. Good morning. Um, hey girl from Detroit. So the most important, okay, so first of all, for those of you who don't know me, hello. My name is Markia. I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media. I'm a board certified credit repair specialist and credit score consultant. Um, I use my platform to teach you guys how to do this yourself, right? Not everybody has the money for credit repair, but everybody deserves good credit. So if you have the time to do it yourself and the know-how to do it yourself, I always encourage you guys to do that. So today we're going to be talking about the very first, well, the second step in a sense in credit repair and why it's probably the most important. This is going to be a lot of information, so if you can't stay the entire time, I totally get it. If you can stay the whole time, but like let's say you miss a piece, it will be available for you on YouTube. I'm streaming live on YouTube right now. I'm also getting it set up so that it's live on Facebook, so that you'll be able to see it if you're in the Facebook group or if you follow my page. So let's copy this, paste this. All right. So the very first step, so let's talk about that for a second, right? So the very first step when it comes to credit repair, in my opinion, is acknowledging the behaviors that kind of got you to this point. Now, listen, when I say acknowledging the behaviors that got you to this point, it's a lot more than just I messed my credit up and it's time to fix it. When you are acknowledging the behaviors that got you to this point, that means that you are taking ownership of the decisions that you've made, as well as um, changing, right? So it's all about, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. So if you are still having the same spending habits, if you still have that same financial mindset, you're literally going to end up in this situation all over again. However, if you kind of tackle the relationship that you have with money, because you know it is a relationship, if you tackle the relationship that you have with money and kind of approach it head on, I really feel like that makes the biggest difference. It's not enough to just want good credit. You have to put the work in to do so. So my opinion is always that, you know, a good therapy, a good cry, a good acknowledgement of where you are now, that is definitely required when you start this process. Because again, you can do all the repair in the world, but if you are not building properly, then it, unfortunately, you're not going to get far. So that's just something I always throw out for people. And what I mean by that, like an exercise that I always do whenever I'm making a change financially, like, is you can get like a plate and write down all the negative things that are associated with your relationship with money. So if you are an emotional spender, write that on there. If you don't know how to budget, if your parents taught you something that you kind of, it just didn't benefit you in any way, or if your parents just didn't teach you, you know, those are things that you write on the plate. All the negative things associated with your relationship with money, I want you to write those on the plate. And then I want you to sit there and I want you to read them to yourself. And I want you to break the plate. That's more of like a representation of what you're doing. You are breaking these bad habits. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago, if you guys remember, about how generational curses didn't always start off as generational curses, right? These were things that our parents and our grandparents did to survive. But what a lot of people aren't understanding is that just because it worked for them does not mean it's going to work for you. Just like times have changed, right? A lot has changed in society over the last couple of years. Your financial mindset has to evolve with it. Think about inflation. Think about the interest rates. Hell, look at the gas prices. These are all things that have changed over the years. But unfortunately, a lot of the mindsets that we have financially stem from our parents and grandparents. Those haven't changed. For example, we talked about why credit cards should not just be for emergencies. A lot of people get credit cards and it's like, oh, this is my emergency credit card. I'm only going to use it in case of an emergency. That's not good enough anymore. Especially with the way that, remember, credit scores are changing. Remember, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about like FICO 10T and FICO 10. That by itself is going to encourage you to use your credit cards because that is the only way you're going to be able to maximize the amount of points that you have. So it's very important that you guys understand that as these things evolve, things like how they calculate your credit score or, what's considered a good credit score anymore, those things are going to keep changing. So your financial mindset has to evolve with it. So just always tell everybody, be open-minded, trust, but verify, right? Even with the stuff that I say, I know I try to give you guys all the resources that I personally use when I'm doing this, but trust, but verify, read it yourself. Right? That way you'll know exactly who's lying or who's telling the truth on this app. You won't need to be confused or tricked or things like that. But outside of the mindset, the very first thing that you're going to want to do when it comes to credit repair is you're going to want to update your personal information. Now, yes, credit cards equal everyday living. You're so right, Sierra, because a lot of people think, and that's another thing, I guess, a lot of people are under the impression that your credit really only matters when it comes to like buying a house or buying a car. So they think that if they're not trying to buy a house, or they think that if they're trying to buy cash cars and they don't plan on having a car payment, they think they don't need to pay attention to their credit, or they think it's not as important. And you actually can't be farther from the truth. Like, you cannot be any farther from the truth. It is very important that you guys understand all that credit affects so you can understand kind of like the magnitude of the decisions that you're making. Your credit can determine where you go to school, where you live, because I just seen something on Twitter the other day for some apartments in Atlanta, and they were requiring a 640 credit score. A lot of people don't have a 640 credit score, especially not post-pandemic. So, literally, this is going to be what determines whether or not you live in a good neighborhood, what your insurance is. So if you guys have car insurance, renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, your insurance is low-key determined by your credit score. That is a huge determining factor on if they're going to give you insurance and how much you pay. Credit affects a lot. Sometimes it affects whether or not you even get a job. So if you want to be a public servant, if you have a lot of debt and you're not managing it properly, you will be denied that employment. For those of you who want to get into the tech sector or like cybersecurity and things like that, your credit plays a huge role in whether or not you get your security clearance. So it's very important that you guys understand the ramifications of your credit report and your credit score, and really kind of internalize that so that you kind of weigh your decisions a little bit more. It's not just if you want to buy a house. Some people don't want to buy a house. It's not about if you're going to go buy a car. Some people buy cash cars and that works for them. It's about a lot more than that. And I really think that it's important that we start spreading that information so that more and more people start taking their credit a lot seriously, right? Now, your personal information is how companies attribute debt to you, right? Now, with all of the what do I want to call them? Data breaches, right? With all of the data breaches, a lot of companies stopped even having your social security number on file because the chances of it getting out was so high. So how do they know for a fact that this debt belongs to you? And a lot of it boils down to your personal information. This is normally the very first way that a debt collector or creditor will validate or verify information is they look at the personal information associated with the account. And what I mean by that is, okay, so when you guys are applying for accounts and stuff like that, right? When you're applying for accounts and stuff, the first thing you do is put your name, your address, your phone number, where you work, how much you make, things like that. That information is compared to the information that's already reporting on your credit. And so if it matches, then for them, that means that, hey, this is that person. I'm going to go ahead and tie this debt or this inquiry to this person. So following that same logic, removing some of that information, because for quite a few of you, that information is very cluttered. You have like 5, 6, 7 addresses. You have a ton of phone numbers. For those of you who have that, cleaning up your personal information will make it harder for these companies to validate or verify information. It will require them to do some more digging, because this is not the only way that they validate or verify information, but this is the easiest way. And you never want to make their job easier, guys. You never want to make their job easier. I hope y'all can't hear that. I hope y'all cannot hear that that plane. Sorry. I'm about to see if I can go live on Instagram at the same time. So how do you update your personal information section, right? The biggest thing with updating your personal information section is, what do you want reporting? It's not enough for you to tell the companies what you want deleted. I mean, shit, I want a lot of stuff deleted, but that's not enough. You have to start letting them know what you want reporting, right? It's all about, for them, it's all about, okay, why do you want it taken off? You can't claim it's fraud, because for a lot of you, it ain't fraud. It's actually your information. But what you can do is create doubt. If you create doubt and they can't prove it, then they'll remove it. And even if they do repopulate it, what a lot of people don't know is the addresses and the names that's on your credit report are assigned a specific number. Now, that number is used and attributed to debt that's on your profile. So, for example, let's say I have a Capital One credit card. There is going to be numbers associated with my name, my address, my phone number. When it comes to this Capital One account, it's certain systems will have it set up so that it'll have numbers next to it. Like, this is the name that was used on this account. This is the name that's reporting up here. This is the address that was used for this account. This is the address up here that was reporting. So even if you remove it and it repopulates, what's going to happen is that number won't be the same, because the number updates or refreshes every time you add a new identity or new anything to your personal information section. And so that makes it just that much harder for them to verify or validate that information. Listen, it's not my job to make their job easier. It's their job to prove to me without a shadow of a doubt that, you know, this debt belongs to me and that they did the proper identification sequence prior to reporting that information to the credit bureaus. So if I can make that a little harder, then I'm going to make that a little harder. Oh, for real, Florida? Let me know when they get there so I can see it. And make sure you do an unboxing too. Make sure you do an unboxing too. You should have said you was going to order it. I would have gave you my little code. I think I had a referral code or something for that. So this is why it's very important to update your personal information, y'all. So how you're going to do that, I actually have a copy of the letter. Let me see if I can share it for you guys. Hope this works. All right. Boom. Instagram. So it is working. Okay, so Instagram, you're not going to be able to see it, but sorry. I'll just read it out loud so that you guys can kind of hear it. So where it is, here it is. So the information dispute letter, if you have the kit, then this is something that you'll see in the kit. This letter pretty much states that, listen, I pulled a copy of my credit report and I noticed that you guys got some weird ass shit reporting that's inaccurate. So I'm going to tell you what you should be reporting, and then that's just going to be that on that. So then you're going to list all of the items that you actually want reporting, and you're going to say, hey, delete any other references to these names, delete any other addresses outside of the ones that I'm listing, and so on and so forth. If you are not updating that particular part of your credit report, that particular part of your personal information section, then you don't have to worry about it. So like if your social is already correct, if your date of birth is already correct, you don't have to include these things. Now, this letter is going to go to each credit bureau. That is very, very, very important. You're going to send this letter to each credit bureau. Now, for some people, I'm going to be honest with you guys, for some of you, that won't be enough. They're going to look at you like, yo, you sent me this letter, but that's not enough for me. Like, you're going to have to send me something else to prove that this information is reporting inaccurately. Now, if that happens, then obviously you'll go into a little bit more detail. We'll talk about that in a second. Should you update personal information before disputing? Yes, this is called the pre-dispute process. So how I do it with my clients is, honestly, this letter goes out before any other letter. And I try to wait to see, if they get a response to that letter before I send out their round one. But for a lot of people, especially lately with the way mail's going, I can't afford to wait that long because it just takes so long. So I'll typically put like a 2-week gap in between the letters. But this goes one letter to each credit bureau. And sometimes you may have to call. After you send the letter, go ahead and give them a call like, yo, so I sent this letter out. You guys haven't responded yet, which is cool, but I really need you guys to update this personal information. It's costing me a lot of problems. It's causing me a lot of problems with my credit because I have what is known as a merged credit profile, right? It's merging my file with somebody else's. And the only way that I can prove that it's not me with these accounts is if you guys update my personal information. Can I ask a question? What do you do if the account number they're reporting is not correct? Then you're going to do something known as a debt validation. Now, that is actually a part of the dispute process. So you can easily send them a letter. Hey, girl, you can easily send them a letter like, yo, I put a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing some discrepancies between the bureaus. Can you please investigate this account? That's the first letter you're going to send, which is called a debt verification. It's going to go to the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus are then going to go to the lender and be like, yo, did you mean to report this way? To which they'll either update or they'll remove the account. That's the choices that they have. Whenever you initiate a dispute or start an investigation, they are required to either update it or remove it. Those are the only two options they have. So they can either update it and say, yo, this is how it's supposed to be reporting. I don't know what they're trying to tell you, but this is it. Or they'll remove it and be like, we can't, confirm or deny how it's supposed to be reporting because honestly, we don't got all the paperwork. Whatever the case may be, that's what's going to happen. So they'll either update the account number with your new account number or they'll remove it. Now, if they just say, hey, no, that's already correct, we're not going to fix anything, that account number is correct, you obviously have evidence that it is not. So then what you can do is you can take their response to the credit bureaus, attach it to a letter and send it straight to them like, hey, I pulled a copy of my credit report. I need you to prove that this debt is tied to me because the account number that you're reporting, I've never seen this a day in my life. So I'm going to need you to do some digging, which is the debt validation letter, essentially. So they're going to send you everything that they have associated with that debt. The promissory note, they're going to send you whatever contract you signed or whatever is another word for a promissory note, right? Any monthly statements that they have, things like that. Now, if they send you all the information and that debt is not considered valid, then they're going to have to remove it. And if they don't remove it, you can take all of the responses that you got to your initial request and you can send it to the CFPB because what this is considered is willful non-compliance. They did not make the required change. The debt cannot be validated if it has an incorrect account number. That means you did not do the research. They're looking for you to tell them exactly what's wrong with the account so that they don't have to do an investigation. But at that point, it is considered willful non-compliance and you can file and win a CFPB complaint. I have paperwork, but do I supply it to dispute? I don't want to give them the info. They verified it all, but my paperwork says differently. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My comments are coming in so slow. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you. Okay. When it comes to bankruptcy, do I need to pull all of my third-party credit reports? Not just for bankruptcy, but I always suggest that you guys pull multiple copies of your third-party reports for the simple fact that you need to know what information about you is out there. There's a lot of information that's not being reported by the big three, but they actually have access to. For example, if you guys have high car insurance, you're definitely going to want to pull your Clue Auto. They are owned by Lexisnexis, if I'm not mistaken. If you're in the Facebook group, then I do have a copy of the third-party reporting agencies in the group files. That was a document that I received while I was still, training and things like that, and it's valid. I've used the information all the time. But there's a list of third-party reporting agencies and how to get in contact with them, or at least what to search for when you're trying to get contact information if it has changed since then. And then you can use that to kind of request it. All of those companies are considered credit reporting agencies, so you are entitled to one free credit report a year from each and every agency. That is just a part of the FACT Act or FACTA, the Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act. You are guaranteed one free copy a year. So I highly suggest you guys request these copies, if from nothing else, especially from Lexisnexis. That's probably like the most important credit reporting agency that you guys should be paying attention to because they report a lot of information. For a lot of you who are having problems removing your personal information, a lot of times it's because of something that may be reporting on your Lexisnexis. So it never hurts to pull that too. Where can I purchase your kit? So if you click the link in my website, on my TikTok profile, or in my Instagram, if you're watching, it'll take you to my quick links page, and then you'll be able to shop from there, download my kits and things like that. I also have some free letters in the Facebook group. Those letters are different than what you'll see online, but there's a million ways to skin a cat, so it doesn't make a difference which one you use. Now, all letters are not available for free in the group. I will go ahead and put that disclaimer out, but there are some that are available for free to kind of get you going in the Facebook group files. And for those of you who are not in the Facebook group, the name of the Facebook group is Plugged In the Credit Clubhouse. You're so welcome. Now, so let's say you send your letters in and for some reason they're still telling you, look, we can't delete this. It's tied to an account that you have. It's very important that you guys, now you should already be doing this, which is why I don't really talk about it as a required step, but just in case you're kind of getting some pushback, what you really want to make sure you're doing is all of your open accounts. So, oh no, I'm not on Facebook. That's the only way to get those letters because they're in the Facebook group files, or you could purchase them from the website, but the Facebook group is the only place to get them for free. And it's not even all the letters. They're not even the same letters. I think the only letters that are the same are the that's not what I asked for letter that's also available in the kit. So let's say you send in your letters and you're just getting a lot of pushback. When it comes to your and listen, when you guys I meant to say this, when you guys request to be in the Facebook group, I be feeling real bad declining some of y'all, but you have to make sure you answer the questions. I am very adamant on keeping the Facebook group a safe space. We don't do advertising in there. We don't do spam in there. And we also don't do judgmental posting. So if you're one of those people who cannot provide value, I really advise you not to say anything because that is the quickest way to get blocked. Because I don't play that. I want people to feel comfortable and to feel safe enough to come in there and ask their questions and actually feel like they got something of value. So that's probably like the disclaimer I'm going to give y'all for the Facebook group. But anyway, let's say you're getting pushback. The biggest thing you want to make sure that you're consistently doing is that with your open accounts, you are keeping your contact information updated. And what I mean by open accounts is like if you have a current credit card that you're using, your current car company, whatever accounts that you have currently open that you're actively making payments on, you always need to make sure that your contact information is up to date and that they removed any old information. When you do that, you're making it so that the old information that you have, they're not reporting it. So that shouldn't be what's keeping you, like holding you back from updating your personal information. Because if an open account is reporting like an old address or something, even if, let's say, Experian or somebody removes it, what's going to end up happening is it's just going to repopulate. And it's just going to keep repopulating because that company is reporting it every month. So it's very important that you always, always, always keep your current creditors up to date with your contact information. So if you get a new email address, if you get a new phone number, if you moved a bunch of times, especially for my military people, you definitely want to make sure that you keep that information up to date. Hey, Earn. Now, let's talk about the third-party agencies for a little bit because I know I did touch on that. And remember, for those of you watching, you can always ask questions in the comments and I'll answer them for you. Oh, wait. Oh, what's up, Bakari? Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry. Y'all forgot to check the Facebook comments. Oh, no, I just explained how. So to remove your old address, Sierra, you just got to send, you did miss the letter. So what I'm going to say is after this goes off, go back and watch it because I did highlight the letter. But there is a personal information update letter that you can send to update with current information so that they remove the old information. Let me check YouTube. I highlighted the personal information update letter in the video. You probably missed it. You will be able to go back and watch this video on YouTube if you have that kind of question, if you have that kind of time actually, or if you're in the Facebook group. If you're in the Facebook group, just write up there like, hey, what letter am I supposed to be sending? And if it's not already in the group files, I'll add it in there. It should already be in the group files. If not, I'll add it in there. Somebody let me know if you're in the Facebook group. But make a post and let me know. Don't let me know on here because I know how I am and I'm gonna forget. I'm not fooling with y'all today. Anyway, damn, you made me lose my dang on train of thought. Jesus, Mary Joseph. All right. Oh, third-party reporting agencies. So when you're disputing with the third-party reporting agencies, a lot of people get intimidated because you're not used to talking to these companies often. You're not used to seeing them often. So you don't really know how to approach them. But you literally will approach them the same exact way that you approach the big three. So Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Any letters that you would send them, you'll send to the third-party reporting agency. So if you're disputing something on your Lexisnexis, you can use the exact same letters. Obviously, you'll just tweak the words or whatever. Make sure you got the right address for this third-party agency and things. These letters are good for any credit reporting agency, not just Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So that's very, very important that you guys know that. A lot of people be like, I don't see any letters for the third-party agencies. What am I supposed to do? These letters, the letters that go to the credit bureaus, those letters apply to the third-party agencies as well. Obviously, these letters are templates, so you can kind of tweak them, fix them, whatever you got to do to make them apply to you directly. But you can use those same letters for third-party reporting agencies. And I do have the links for like how to pull your Lexisnexis report and stuff like that. That's also in the Facebook group if you guys are in there. If not, you can literally just Google request Lexisnexis. I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like risk.lexisnexis.com. Let me check it out. I'm about to tell y'all exactly what it is. Risk.lexisnexis. Lexisnexis.com. Matter of fact, I'm about to pull up this document right here because I got it all on there. I'm going to tell y'all the exact website. Pull it up. And this is the website that you'll use to request a copy of. It's consumer.risk.lexisnexis.com. And then you'll fill out that form. Matter of fact, can I share my screen? I know Instagram won't be able to see it, but everybody else will be able to see it. Give me a second. I can share my screen so you guys will see what it looks like. Chrome tab. Is it this one? No. Yep, it's this one right here. Okay. So this is what it'll look like, guys. Let me see Instagram. I can just take you guys. Let me unplug it. Oh, it's not like it was charging anyway, huh? Ain't that something? All right, let me turn the camera around. There we go. Okay. So this is the online request form for Lexisnexis. You'll just kind of fill this out and then submit your request, and then you'll receive a copy of your Lexisnexis report as like an email, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. That Lexisnexis, ain't no joke, okay? When I pulled my copy of my Lexisnexis, I was low-key shocked because I didn't realize they had that much stuff about me. I really didn't. They're a different address for the credit bureaus. What is the correct address? Oh, that's a really good question. You know what? I will pull up. I have that in a list too. I will pull up the correct addresses for the credit bureaus. I'll pull that up and share that for you guys. Hey, let's see. I got a bunch of windows open. DIY kit, instructions. Here it is. I can share the screen like this. All right. I'm going to share my screen again. So you guys listen, screenshot this because I'm going to show you guys the addresses. Where's my screen? Here we go. Share. Chrome, window. Instructions. Here we go. These are the addresses that I use for the credit bureaus. And this is just for the big three, guys. Here you go. You guys can screenshot. Can you see that? I know Instagram is looking kind of weird. There you go. If you guys can screenshot that, I'm trying to be as still as possible. All right. Put you guys back in here. Let me plug this up before this turns off. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is the address for the credit bureaus. Now, I know there are a ton of addresses out there, but this is the one that I use, and I have never had any issues with getting my letters to them. So if anybody receives a returned address letter, like a not at this address letter, let me know, and then I'll do some digging. But that is the exact address that I use. I can even show you again because I have stamps made. So I'll show you guys. I have stamps made that I use. It cuts me off a couple seconds from my when I'm preparing letters for my clients because I do it. When I'm doing letters for my clients, I use my stamp, and those are the addresses that are on my stamp. So I'm not telling you something that I'm not currently using. About my bankruptcy, I sent all the documents required to show that I didn't file. My ex-husband did. What other information do I need? So the biggest thing is, I'm confused. So there is no, did you file jointly with your ex-husband? The biggest thing is you have to prove that the information that they're reporting does not belong to you. So if you can get a breakdown of what TransUnion sees, so TransUnion, when it comes to bankruptcies, they're normally getting their information from Lexisnexis. So if you pull your Lexisnexis report and it's on there, you need to get all the history associated with that particular bankruptcy. So that means you may have to create a Pacer account for yourself to pull all of those documents if you can't just get those from your ex-husband. Now, with all of those documents, what you're going to go through is you're going to go through them so that you can prove to them, like, yo, my name is not on any of this information. And then what you're going to do is you're going, because it's public information, you do not need your ex-husband's permission to share this. It's literally public information. Like, I can literally go on here and purchase the documents myself. You will provide copies of that. I had myself removed. So then you're going to provide copies, especially the copy of you removing yourself from that bankruptcy. And then you're going to submit that in another letter to them where you're like, yo, you guys are reporting this. I don't know why you're reporting this because I'm not on it. And here is the proof that I am not supposed to be attached to this bankruptcy. And you're going to send that to them. A lot of times they're lazy. They don't want to do the investigation. So if you give them the information they need, they're going to take you off. But for some people, in some cases, that is not always a smart idea. For example, if you know, for example, like for a fact that this account belongs to you and is legit, but you're trying to question the validity because like a date is off or an amount is off, don't tell them that a date is off or an amount is off because then they're just going to update it. But if you know for a fact something does not belong to you and you have proof that it does not belong to you, that is a point in time when providing the information could be of more benefit than just sitting there and duking it out with them. It really depends on what your goals are, if you plan on making major purchases soon, et cetera, et cetera. Old water bill, it's now an open account with the collection agency. Before I pay, do I send a letter? So here's the thing. So if it's with a debt collection company, then you don't want to just outright pay it because then you're going to be stuck with that collection for 7 years. When it comes to collections, you got two options. You can either force them to prove the validity of the debt because a lot of times when they can't, it's reverted to the original creditor and you can settle it there. Or you can negotiate something that is known as a pay to delete. A pay to delete only applies for accounts that's in collections. I've been seeing a lot of confusion with these lately, with people sending pay to deletes to the original creditor and then getting pissed because it's not working and it cussing me out. Pay to deletes only work for collection companies and it is still at their discretion. So if they agree to it, cool. If they don't, there's literally nothing you can do about it. But you're going to send them a letter saying, hey, I pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that you're saying that I owe a balance. I have no problem paying that balance to get this account to stop reporting. And this is no way me acknowledging the fact of acknowledging ownership of this debt, but I just need this shit off. So if I give you X amount of dollars, I'm asking that you stop reporting to the credit bureaus. You always want to do this in writing, or even if you call, you want to get the guarantee in writing before you make your payment that they are going to remove it upon receiving your payment. And then you're going to get a copy of the receipt for your payment. You're going to keep these documents on hand, but legally, once they agree to that, the action needs to take place within 30 to 45 business days. And then if it doesn't, you can take the proof that you have and submit that to the credit bureaus to have them remove it because that's what the agreement stated. You have proof of the agreement and proof of payment, so now it has to be removed. That's what you're going to want to do for that debt. Let's see. All right, we're doing good on time. I know that was a lot of information. I hope I didn't confuse you. I have charge of two of the bureaus have different information. Do I do a factual dispute? So yes, you can do a factual dispute. You'll start off with a debt verification letter, right? Remember, so a lot of people, and let's talk about this for a second because a lot of y'all start this process and then y'all try to skip steps because you want results now. I am one of those people who is going to always be honest with you guys, regardless of how you feel about it, because I really feel like you need to know both sides of the coin before you get to flipping so that you know what the consequences of your actions kind of entail, right? You guys want immediate results, knowing that it took you 5, 6, 7 years sometimes to mess your credit up. And that's not fair to yourself because you actually end up shooting yourself in the foot when you skip steps. A lot of y'all will skip all the beginning steps and go straight to, I'm going to tell them what's wrong so that they delete it. And it never works out for you. Never works out. The reason that you want to follow the system is because you are at the end of, these rounds of letters. 2 things are going to happen. 3 things can happen. They're either going to remove it. They're not going to remove it and you're going to pay it. Or you have enough evidence to file a CFPB complaint against them and have the CFPB step in and enforce the FCRA to get this account removed, right? So why are you doing an MOV? Why are you doing an MOV? Okay, so this is where you start. The first thing that should go out is your your bureau reinvestigation letter, right? Because we don't count the personal information update letter. That is always pre-dispute. It is not considered round one. Now, your round one should be your bureau reinvestigation letter, right? A lot of y'all be getting so, let's talk about that for a second too before I start this. Y'all get so caught up in like, oh, this person said this. But what you're not realizing is that there is no one size fits all to credit repair. So you need to be very cognizant of your debt because some of these letters might not apply to you or you might not have to do certain steps. This is also why it's very important for you guys to understand the FCRA so that you know when a letter doesn't apply to your situation or when you don't have to send certain things. Now, after your bureau reinvestigation letter, all that is that you're putting the bureaus on notice. Like, y'all need to do some checking. Like, just let them know I'm coming for them. Like, they might want to check to make sure this information is correct. If it comes back as verified, then you're going to send the MOV, right? It's going to be around 2. You're going to send your method of verification letter. How did you verify this information? Who did you speak with? I need their contact information. I also need to know what did they tell you to verify this information. A lot of times they're going to direct you to the creditor, which is fine, because then you're going to send the debt validation letter directly to the creditor. This does not go to the bureaus. You're going to send this letter directly to the creditors. Like, yo, how you doing? I pulled a copy of my credit and I'm noticing that you're reporting XYZ. However, I'm also knowing that this account is inaccurate. Please provide me with all of the information that you have concerning this debt, particularly information that not only justifies the amount that you're saying that I owe, but information that ties me personally to this debt. If you cannot provide this information, this account must be removed per the FCRA. Blah, 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 blah. That's pretty much what it says. Now, if they respond to the debt validation and all they send you is a bill is not a proper debt validation, people. A bill is just something that somebody typed up somewhere saying that you owe. This is not evidence that you owe that debt. I need to see a copy of the promissory note if that's the kind of debt it is. I need to see a copy of the contract that I signed saying, yo, I was going to pay this money every month, blah, blah, blah. I need to see that. It needs to have a signature on it, whether it's a digital signature. So for those of you who applied online, a lot of times you'll see like an IP address. Everybody knows an IP address is unique to you. Or you'll see like a little digital signature that you did. Or if you did it in person, you'll see a wet signature. That's what you need to be looking for, copies of the contract. Now, the bureaus don't have that. The credit bureaus do not have that. That's why debt validation letters go directly to the creditor. The bureau doesn't really have any power, if you want me to be honest with you. The bureaus can only verify. And by that, I mean, you talk to them and be like, did y'all mean to say this? And then they're going to go to the creditor and say, yo, did you mean to say this to me? And the creditor's going to look, yeah, I meant that shit. I said what I said. And then they're going to come to you like, listen, they said they meant it. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You're going to have to take it up with them. That's literally how the first like couple of rounds go. The bureau reinvestigation letter and the method of verification letter. Now, once the bureau is out of the picture, the only time you're going to be contacting them again is in the event that, let's say they agree to a deletion and they don't do it, then you'll reach back out to the bureaus. But once you go past the method of verification letter, you're not going to be contacting the bureaus for a little bit until you get this situated directly with the creditor. Something else I want to talk to you guys about is the comments associated with these accounts that you guys are disputing on your credit reports. Hold on, before I move on, let me go back and check any more comments. Okay, good. All right, bet. I want to talk to you guys about the comments. So for a lot of you, especially those of you who are looking to buy homes, right, and you're fixing your credit yourself, this is going to be very, 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 very important. They're going to ask you to remove the comments associated with any disputes because it looks crazy. A lot of times when you have these comments associated with these accounts, they can't even include it in your credit scoring process. And so it really hurts you more than it helps you. So when you need to have comments removed from an account, so let's say you disputed an account and you lost, fine, whatever. All you have to do for the most part is you can either send a letter. Y'all know how I am about my letters. Or you can make a phone call. Now, y'all know why I like letters more important than phone calls. But you can call them up and say, hey, I'm entering the home buying process. And my lender is requesting that all of the comments associated with any disputes that are open are closed. And that any comments associated with the disputes are removed. That's going to be key. That is definitely something that you are going to want to call the bureaus and have done after your dispute process is finished and you're ready to go shopping around. These are for the items. Listen, and that's another thing. A lot of you think just because you send a letter asking for something to be deleted, that's just how that works. And that's not true. I'm here to pop your bubble. That's not how that works because you hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So we want the deletion, but in the event that doesn't happen, you are stuck with an account and stuck with the comment that you disputed it and you lost. So then you're just going to have those kind of comments removed so that these accounts can still be factored into your credit score. And most lenders will ask you to do this. And it's honestly something you can do yourself. You don't even have to hire people to do that for you. And everybody, I know somebody's gonna message me like, "What's the template?" There doesn't need to be one. You simply send them a letter saying, "Hey, like I said, like I pulled a copy of my credit report. I'm sorry. I entered the home buying process, and my lender pulled a copy of my credit report, and they're noticing comments associated with disputes. I would like to remove all of these accounts from the dispute process, as well as erase the comments associated with each account." That's it. That's literally it. But it's very, very, very important that you guys do that if you are entering the home buying process. Now, for those of you who were late to the party, let's say you just wasn't here the whole time, welcome. My name is Markia. I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media, and I'm a board-certified credit repair specialist and a board-certified credit score consultant. And so I use my platform to educate you guys because everybody can't afford credit repair, but that doesn't mean you don't deserve good credit, right? So if you're going to do this yourself, that's what I'm here for, right? This live is being recorded. Whenever you guys catch me on TikTok, because I know for a fact that TikTok doesn't allow me to post the lives for you guys to watch, I record them. So I'm actually streaming live right now on YouTube. If you go to WWTMPD, What Would the Money Plug Do, on YouTube, you can also subscribe and you'll catch all of my recorded lives. As well as I'm live on Facebook right now. So if you're on Facebook, you can join the Facebook group, or you can search for me on Facebook at The Money Plug, literally, and you'll see my face and my locks. Comments on CFPB. I just submitted a complaint. Okay, so if you've been following me for a couple of days now, and I think I've sent out 2 emails about this as well. The first email that went out was a report that the CFPB did, kind of like slamming the credit bureaus, saying that they, have not been handling this influx of disputes due to COVID and all these other things properly. They've been flat out not responding to people or lying to people and sending them what we call stall letters, saying that, "Oh, this sounds like you sent it from a third party and we need more information." These are just stall letters. First of all, for those of you who received those letters, there is nothing wrong with you hiring a credit repair company to do your credit repair. That is just a tactic that they use to buy themselves more time to investigate. You did nothing wrong. Your credit repair person did absolutely nothing wrong. It's just that they just gotta send the information back out. That's literally all they can do. Now, the CFPB, for those of you who don't know, I also realize that is one of the bureaus that is associated with enforcing the FCRA, right? So the FCRA is a legit law. It's literally written into law. And so they need somebody to enforce it because, there's no credit police, right? So these are the people who kind of stay on the backs of the credit bureaus and things like that to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because at the end of the day, these are companies. These are privately owned companies, not government entities. So they have to be regulated. We have to make sure they're working in the way that we need them to work, right? And so I like the CFPB and they're moving in the right direction. For example, I don't know if I did a TikTok, but I know I talked about it a little bit on Instagram, talking about how they released a bulletin pretty much stating that they're making it easier for consumers to communicate with them directly. So if you feel as though there needs to be changes to the FCRA, if you feel like there needs to be changes to any of the legislation associated with your credit, so like the FCRA, the FDCPA, FACTA, FCBA, things like that, then they make it easier for you to get in contact with them to initiate that change. I highly suggest you all do it. You guys, in my comments, I get thousands and thousands and thousands of suggestions on what they would do if they were in charge or what should be changed when it comes to credit repair. And we have the option to make that happen now. So I highly suggest you guys go over to cfpb.gov and you guys tell these people how you feel. There is a specific structure that they want to the complaints, not the complaints, I'm sorry, to the requests for the legislation changes, but they also have that listed on the website. Her complaint says, creditor reported on-time payments, but I never paid. Now that extended the statute of limitations. I went to one of the schools that Navient settlement covers. What do I do? You need to, first of all, you need to contact Navient directly. That's the first thing. You need to get in contact with somebody at Navient to figure out what do you have to submit to have those loans discharged, if that's what they're doing, or forgiven, or whatever the case may be. You need to make sure that you meet all of the criteria associated with this settlement. But filing the CFPB complaint was also a big move. It was a big move, but what I don't see from you is that you reached out to Navient first. That's going to be the first thing. You have to give this company the opportunity to respond because that's all the CFPB is going to do. They're going to reach out to the company, and the company's going to be like, yo, I had no idea this person even felt this kind of way about it, because you don't have a paper trail. So first, you need to go ahead, reach out to Navient, do it on paper. I know y'all love phone calls, right? Because it's so fast, it's so convenient, and who got time to send letters? And I get it, but you're making their job easier, because that's not a paper trail. They're recording the conversation, and that's cool, but they control the recordings, and they can easily say, oh, that one wasn't recorded that day, or it was corrupted and we had to delete the file. And if you don't live in a one-party consent state, you recording that for your own purposes, honestly, sometimes isn't even admissible in court. So it's very important that you guys do these letters. Use the mail system. That is what it's here for. But that is your paper trail to kind of set yourself up. Remember, the end result of a dispute is I'm either going to get the deletion or I'm going to have enough evidence to submit my CFPB complaint. That's what you got to think of. I sent a dispute letter. They sent me a bill with a discount on the balance, but no verification. So the verification is going to come from the bureaus. If you sent the debt verification letter to the bureaus, they're going to send you a copy of your credit report. It'll look like, but you have to read it, because it's going to tell you exactly what happened. If they updated something, if they removed something, or if something just stayed the same. It's going to tell you exactly what it was. Now, if you sent a debt validation letter to the companies and they send you, oh, we're willing to settle, that's usually a red flag. I have a question. See, God damn it, I got to start reading these comments. I'm hollering. So if you send a debt validation letter to the company and they send you, that's a red flag, right? Because that's pretty much saying, like, why didn't you send me what I asked for? Because a lot of times they don't have it. A lot can happen in the exchange of a debt, right? So reiterate your request. There's a letter in the Facebook group called the That's Not What the Fuck I Asked For letter. Send them that, because you asked them for something very specific in that debt validation letter. And if they did not provide that, that doesn't extend your time to respond. You still have X amount of days left to give me what I asked for, or we're going to have problems. It's not mine, and it's a medical bill for sure. So then, yes. So when you do the debt validation and they send you all the documentation associated with the bill, they will clearly see that your name is not on any of that fucking paperwork. That is so obvious. That's probably why they offered you, like, all right, yo, just pay this and you ain't got to talk to us no more, because they know it's not yours. So just keep pressing them. Keep pressing them. The only reason these companies be winning a lot of times, I'm going to be 1,000% honest with y'all, is because people don't question it. People see it pop up on their credit report and they get scared and they just pay it. Hell no, make them people earn that money. You want me pay? Prove it. If you can prove listen, if you put that work in and prove I owe you that money, girl, I'll give you that goddamn money. Here's your funky ass $40. Hey, Baltimore, question. What's up? About the student loans, mine were forgiven but says sold or transferred. Do I need to question them? Yes, because why does it say sold or transferred? I don't know why it would say that unless it was transferred. So for a lot of people who were included in the Navient settlement, your debt was often consolidated and sold to a separate company. Some people didn't have their stuff forgiven. So that's another thing that you want to make sure of. You should be able to log into your student aid portal and kind of like see details and stuff like that. But you're definitely going to want to contact the loan people directly. They will always be the first stop on my I'm about to go down the list and ask everybody some damn questions tour. Always. Since we're on the subject about student loans, I also want to talk about something. So I posted a TikTok about it the other day, but I really want you guys to understand, right? So for those of you who are getting your student loans forgiven, for some of you, this could hurt your credit. And a lot of people don't understand it. And I get it. It frees up some of your money, right? However, it could hurt your credit. Lady Pepsi, I don't know how to start the forgiveness. All I've been directed is to steer you guys towards your student aid portal, and it should have some more information for you there. You can also search federal student loan forgiveness, and that should kind of like point you in the right direction, because I'm not a student loan professional. I just can talk to you guys about how your student loans relate to your credit. Now, when it comes to your student loans and why like having them forgiven, right? Having all of them forgiven might not be the best thing. For a lot of you, your student loans is the oldest account that you have, right? The oldest account that you have. And it's also the most positive, because for a lot of y'all, it was in deferral this entire time. So you haven't had to make any payments. And so when these accounts are paid off, remember, whenever you pay off a loan, right? Your score is going to go down because this account is no longer reporting every month. And the same thing is going to happen to your student loans. It's just that because your student loans are so valuable, for most of you, it's probably the only thing you have on your credit because a lot of you are scared of credit cards and car loans and things like that. And so once that's not reporting anymore, it's going to tank your score. Because I always tell people, think of your credit as a house in some floodlands, right? So your house is up on stilts. If you only, your stilts are, your stilts are the accounts that you have on your credit report. So if you only have your student loans, let's say you got 3 student loans, and these 3 student loans is the only thing holding your house up. If you take those student loans away, your house is going to fall. You have to make sure you are adding other lines of credit to your credit profile. I'm not saying go out here and buy no fucking trade lines. Don't tell nobody I fucking said that, because that's not what I said. Y'all know how I feel about trade lines. What I'm saying is you need to be consistently opening up new accounts. And yes, being an authorized user on somebody's card can be extremely valuable. But what a lot of you don't understand about that as well is that you have no financial responsibility to pay that bill. You have no obligation to that debt. And so even though that's cool and it looks cute on your credit, for lenders, they're still looking at it like, girl, how do you pay your bills? Because this person pays their bills, but how do you pay your bills? You need accounts where you are the sole party responsible or the joint party responsible for a debt. When you're an authorized user, there is no financial obligation, for you with that debt. I have a friend that says there are no benefits in using cash or debit. He has 4 credit cards, 1,000%. And when I be saying this on TikTok, y'all really be dragging in my comments about credit card debt and all that stuff until I bust out with this analogy. People be like, oh, you teaching people how to be in debt. You not helping people. You work for the credit card companies and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. First of all, I don't work for no fucking body but myself. Let's go ahead and establish that right now. Any advice that I give y'all, I'm giving y'all because it works. I'm not giving y'all because I'm paid to do it. I was going to say this shit for free. If they're going to pay me to do it, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. Because again, I was going to say this shit for free anyway. However, when it comes to the benefit of debit versus credit, right? There is no inherent benefit with paying cash or paying debit. Most debit cards don't offer cash back or rewards or anything like that. A lot of debit cards don't even offer the same identity theft protection or fraud protections that credit card companies offer. Because with credit card companies, this is their money, right? They are the ones on the line. They are the ones who are putting up all the risk when you're paying for something with your credit card. So you goddamn right, they're going to make sure they protect their money. So when you're using your credit cards online and things like that, and you become a victim of identity theft, it's not a big deal because it's your credit card. As opposed to when you're a victim of identity theft with your debit card, you got to jump through 1,000 hoops to get your money back and to file a complaint and do a police report. And it's just a mess. Whereas if you do it with your credit card and you do it the right way, which also means, when you guys are signing up for these credit cards, make sure you look at their identity theft policies and things like that before you sign up. Right? It makes it easier for you to claim these things. Not only that, right? So you were already going to spend this money anyway. Right? So when you swipe your credit card, you're not spending more money. You're spending the exact same amount of money. It's just that now you're getting cash back, or you're getting miles, or you're getting points that you can use for other things. But typically what I do, like say I go to 7-Eleven all the time. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I go to 7-Eleven all the time. Them people know me by name now. So when I go to 7-Eleven and I swipe my credit card, I'm buying $50 worth of gas. I wish I was only spending $50 worth of gas. I buy $50 worth of gas with my credit card. I go to the car. I schedule an immediate payment for that day for $50. How much money did I spend? I spent $50. Now, how much cash back did I get? See what I'm saying? I was going to spend the exact same amount of money anyway. There's no inherent benefit with using your debit over your credit. The whole point of credit cards was for you to use them in lieu of your credit cards. That's why so many places take credit cards. That's why so many places, that's why they offer so many incentives, because they want you to use them over using your debit cards. The only reason people are so afraid is because people can't manage their money. So if you can't manage $100, you're not about to be able to manage $10,000 on a credit card. You see what I'm saying? You need to get your money management skills down before you start opening up all these credit cards. That's the biggest thing, because credit cards are not going to just instantly put you in debt. I always tell people the analogy of guns don't kill people, right? You put a gun on the table, it's not going to do anything. You put a credit card on the table, it's not going to do anything. But a credit card in the hands of the wrong person, somebody who is not educated, somebody who does not have good money management skills, and they are going to fuck their life up every time. Never fails. My husband did this with ITT Tech and his was forgiven. Yeah, so I just did a video on that actually. ITT Tech, they just lost that settlement. It's ITT Tech, DeVry. It's a lot of schools actually. So if you went to one of those for-profit schools that was advertising like, oh, we have a 90%, job placement rate, definitely want to check to see if your loans are covered by this forgiveness. Ally is hurting my credit and I'm paying it off in full. That's not enough details for me to really give you any advice. I'm sorry. I am over 160 days late paying my credit card, but I'm paying on another with the same company. It's on my credit. It's closed account by them, but getting this is your last notice before a charge off. What do I do? Thank you. That's one of those things that you're going to have to decide for yourself. Do you want to pay it? 2 dozen for $2. Oh, babe. Sorry, that's my husband. Babe, can you, if I give you my Krispy Kreme login, can you go get us some? I'm sorry, y'all. I know I'm having a private conversation on live. If I give you my Krispy Kreme login, can you go get us some? I don't know why you didn't. Oh, because I'm on Do Not Disturb. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, back to the conversation at hand, right? So Trinity, this is going to be a preference question. Do you want to pay it? That's literally what it's going to boil down to. I always tell people when you have accounts that are in danger of being charged off, pay it. Because when you don't pay it, it gets charged off. You lose those points. And then if you don't pay that charge off, y'all don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. And then, hey girl, I'm not, you know what? I'm such a bad friend because I don't text like I've been so busy. I'm going to text you today. I'm literally going to write it down to you. Text T today. Text T today. When you don't pay a charge off, right? What happens? They have the option to sell it to a collection company. So if it's sold to a collection company, you're going to lose even more points, right? But if you can nip this in the bud instead of letting it, like if you have one ant and you kill that one ant and no more come back, wouldn't you rather do that as opposed to letting yourself get an infestation, right? So if they are, listen, this is the last warning, set up a payment arrangement or give us something before we charge this account off, do it, in my personal opinion. I'm going to tell you, do it, because you don't want to lose the points for that charge off when you can just settle the debt. It's already closed, so just pay it off. Now, in doing so, please note, so let's say you don't pay it and you get a charge off and then you pay it. You're still stuck with that charge off for the next 7 years. When it comes to how long something reports on your credit, and we talked about this a little bit ago, when you talk about how long something reports on your credit, everybody's like, it's only 7 years, you can duck it out, right? Not necessarily, because it goes off the date of first delinquency if it's an unpaid debt. The date of first delinquency is that first missed payment that led to that charged off status. So if you don't pay it, then 7 years from that date, yes, it can fall off, but that doesn't take into account how long companies have to sue you, which can extend past the reporting time. For example, if you live in a state like Rhode Island, I think Rhode Island statute of limitations is like 10 years. So even though the debt is only on your credit for 7 years, the company has 10 years from and that's from the date of last activity, which can always be updated. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you can try to duck them out for 7 years and that's cute, but it might not work. And then if you duck them out for some years and then eventually you go ahead and pay it, you are now resetting your reporting time because now it changes from the date of first delinquency to the date of last activity. Yes, this is my PlayStation headset. You did not. I feel so seen right now. You did not have to call me out like that. You did not have to call me out like that. What if they have charged the account off but haven't sold it yet? So that's their prerogative. They don't have to sell the account if they don't want to. Literally, if they don't want to sell it, they don't have to. They can hold on to it. They can take you to court directly. It really just depends. Oh my God, not my little sister asking me how much do I love her. She wants something so bad. What if I can't pay what they are suggested? So then you negotiate it, right? Negotiate it. Be like, look, listen, COVID hit my pockets. It hit me hard, right? I don't know what to tell you. It hit me hard. I don't got all the money, but I can give you this. Whenever I start settlement, like negotiations with the company, I personally always start at 20%. I always start at 20% because when you start at 20%, that gives them a lot of room to kind of counter. You know they're going to counter offer. They're always going to counter offer. So if you start off as low as possible, that prevents you from having to pay all the debt in some cases, right? Because they're only going to go up for a little bit. So not her asking me for something and then jumping on my live. Bye, Tootie. So I start off at 20%. So I'm not good at math, so I normally ask my Alexa. So let's say you owe $5,500, right? Alexa, what's 20% of $5,500?
20%
So then I'll say, yo, I'll give you $1,100 for you to consider this debt closed, for you to consider this shit paid. And then they'll either agree or counteroffer, and then you can kind of go back and forth from there. When I send in dispute letters, does it have to be certified? No, it does not. And so the reason why the reason why it doesn't have to be certified, especially when, okay, so it depends on who you're sending it to, right? So if you're sending it to the credit bureaus, I guarantee you a certified letter is not going to make them move any faster. For all of you, actually, certified is only for your records. So if you send it certified, that's literally just for you to be like, oh, okay, they received it on this day. You don't have to. It's a waste of money. It's damn near $4, sometimes more than that, depending on what else you tacking on there, like signatures and some more stuff. It's not worth the money. You just buy some 50-cent stamps and send it out and just kind of hope for the best. Now, what I do is I always send my letters regular, right? I send them regular. I got my handy dandy postal machine right here, right? That marks all my letters for me. Now, if I send 2 letters, I sent 2 letters and y'all playing with me and don't answer me and acting like y'all never received my dispute, that's when I start sending stuff certified. Because at that point, I need somebody to hold responsible for this. Because remember, at the end of some rounds, right, at the end of you disputing, you either get the deletion or you have enough evidence for a CFPB complaint. So if I have copies of 2 previous letters that I sent, and in the third letter, which is the same letter, it's just sent that, like, you know, I sent it certified. That's 3 letters now that I've sent out to you that I've tried reaching you multiple times. That's proof that willful non-compliance. You just chose not to fucking answer me because I sent it to the same address each time and you only responded to the certified one. Yeah, you played with me. I can maybe afford $100 a month. What about now? That's up to the creditor. I can't sit here and say, yeah, they're going to take that, or no, they're not going to take that. It's literally up to the creditor and who you speak to at the time. You're so welcome. I do understand the negotiations plug. What other questions y'all got? Every time I see their comment, I just bust out laughing. And remember, so if you guys are late to the party, if you guys did not, if you missed some of the live, you'll be able to watch it after this, right? So I'm streaming live on YouTube right now. I'm live on Facebook right now. So if you go to WWTMPD on YouTube, what would the money plug do, right? My page will pop up. You can subscribe. Every time I go live on TikTok, I try to go live on YouTube too, so you guys can catch the replay, or you can you can like my page on Facebook. You'll be able to catch my posts. You can even join my Facebook group, which is where a lot of the conversation happens. When negotiating, should we include the pay for deletion? I know that may cost me a little bit more. So only with collection companies. So remember, if you are negotiating a payment with an original creditor, so let's say you owe Capital One and you're negotiating with Capital One directly, no, you cannot include a pay to delete because as an original creditor, they have a duty to report. They're not going to delete. I can tell you that now. However, with collection companies, yes. Typically what I tell people, if you are upfront willing to pay, then I usually send the pay to delete letter first, because in the pay to delete letter, it'll say, listen, I'm not accepting ownership of this debt, but I'm willing to fucking pay you to make it go away. Now you can either take this money or I'm going to do a debt validation. And so a lot of people will take it then because they don't want to have to go through all that. And then we'll do a debt validation if they don't accept it. Because like I said, if you're going to make me pay, you finna work for this money. I'm not about to just pay shit just to be paying shit. And yes, that is true. When you're trying to do a pay to delete, a lot of times they'll ask you to pay a little bit more because they know how bad you want it gone. When credits repeatedly put charge off on your account every month, isn't that a factual dispute? Yes, that is a factual dispute. That is considered a false manipulation of the date of last activity. However, let's go back to just because you can dispute for this reason does not mean it's going to be removed. What's going to end up happening is what happens for a lot of people is that they go ahead and be like, well, you put charge off every month and, you put charge off every month and it can't be charged off every month. So then they're just going to put it for 1 month and then update it. For a lot of people, that's a trap. They want you to dispute it that way. What I typically tell my clients is unless you can you need to be able to identify more than just that. So if that's something that's wrong with it, cool, that's going to open the door, right? That's going to open the door for you to dispute. But once your foot is in that door, Bro, go ham. Matter of fact, I want to see all the documentation you have. And that's also why you do a debt verification letter first, right? If you do your bureau reinvestigation letter, aka the debt verification letter, and they come back and say, no, this is reporting properly, and you clearly see that the charge off is reporting every month, what you can do then is if you send the charge off letter, because there is a charge off letter, if you're in the Facebook group, you'll see that in the group files, right? The charge off letter. If you send that in and then they make the change, this is still considered willful noncompliance because you chose not to make any changes when I asked you to initially. You waited until I said something to you. That is willful noncompliance and a violation of the FCRA. Does it have to be the total amount owed? When you're negotiating, no, it does not. It does not have to be the total amount because it's a negotiation. That's why I say I always start off at 20% of whatever is owed. When I pay the debt, wouldn't that restart my 7 years? Yes, depending on how you pay. Now, if you're paying a collection and you do a pay to delete, it doesn't matter because they're going to remove it and not report to the credit bureau. So no, it's not going to reset the reporting time because the collection itself is going to fall off, right? And then the original company, that 7-year time frame or whatever, that's not going to fall off until 7 years from the date of first delinquency because you technically never paid that company. Now, when it comes to charge-offs that you're paying, yes. When you pay, that is going to reset the 7-year time frame because it changes from the date of first delinquency to the date of last payment. I had a collection agency tell me they can't pay to delete. It's illegal. But I had others say, okay, it's not illegal. I don't know why they're telling people that, and that's a fucking lie. It's not illegal, but it is at their discretion. If the company chooses not to do it, fuck it, fine, okay. I'm going to hang up and keep calling other people to make sure that this is a company policy. I'm also going to ask for a copy of the company's policy because as a data furnisher, they do have the right to cease reporting to the credit bureaus. They don't have to report, right? They're the data furnisher. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I literally, let me tell you something. As a credit repair company, you think I don't have people who don't pay me, who I work and they don't pay me money? And you know what I do? I report on their credit. And I'm a fucking small business. So if I can report on somebody's credit and I can take it off, I know for a fact they can report on somebody's credit and they can take it off, right? That's just how that works. It's not illegal, but a lot of companies won't do it or they don't want to be bothered with the process. And so if they don't, that's fine. And if that really is a part of their policy and they can prove it to you, unfortunately, the only other option you have after that is to settle. Do you ever recommend someone filing bankruptcy? Why? I do not give advice on whether or not you should file bankruptcy. At the end of the day, I am not the part. Listen, nobody knows your finances like you. Nobody. You could hire 8,000 credit repair specialists. You can hire a financial consultant. You can hire a CPA. I do not know your finances better than you. I don't know what you're comfortable paying, what you can afford to pay, can't afford to pay, what your work hours look like, none of that. So I tend to steer away from giving you advice as to whether or not a bankruptcy is good for you. All I can tell you is the effects of a bankruptcy on your credit and how to rebuild if in fact you do move forward with a bankruptcy. That's all I can do. What if they just send you a bill as a validation of the debt? Sending you a bill is not a debt validation. A bill is just something that somebody somewhere typed up saying that I owe money. There's no evidence. I could fucking type up a bill right now saying you owe me money. That's not a debt validation. When it comes to a debt validation, they have to send you something tying you to that debt. They have to send you like a promissory note, the copy of the contract that you signed saying that you agree to all the terms and conditions, right? If it's a digital contract that you signed, it'll usually have a copy of your IP address associated with it or like a digital signature that you filled out. If it was a wet signature, then you'll also see that. But it needs to be signed documentation and identification verification that links you to this debt. The credit bureaus can't give you that. They don't have that. This is something that you'll only be able to get from the original creditor through a debt validation. What if I sent a letter in September asking them to send me something in the mail and they didn't know it's February? Can I send a no response letter or do I need to start the process over? Well, it has been a while. So it really depends on how you want to move forward. You can send a no response letter. Y'all never responded, so I want it removed. But just make sure you attach a copy of your original request with the original date on it. I always tell people that so that they can see like, yo, I did send this on this day, right? Or you can start the process over if you feel like you didn't do it right and you kind of want to reset the time period and do it right this time. It's really prerogative. But what you need to understand is legally, they only have to validate a debt one time. So if they consider the fact, if they say, well, we validated that debt, you're not getting the results, it's not my problem. Kind of be prepared for that because of how the postal service is. So then if that happens, you can just say, okay, well, can you send me a copy of the results because I never received them, you know? But it's really up to you how you want to proceed from that. How do I say I cannot afford it now, but maybe $100 a month to start? Can they remove the late charges? No. So late payment removal and settlements is two different things. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If you do not have the best relationship with a lender, the notion that they're gonna remove the late payments just because you asked is not gonna fucking happen. Not gonna do it. There's no incentive for them to do it, right? Because they don't like you. Like, I mean, there's no other way to say it. They don't like you. So you got to think about it like that. So a lot of times, what I'll tell people, if you don't have the best relationship with your lender, but you really want these late payments gone, is to request a copy of your payment history and then go through and highlight all the late payments and ask them for evidence substantiating their claim that you were in fact late. If it is a credit card, you're going to want to go back in the system and check the dates on all of your monthly statements and when they were made available, because it is illegal for a credit card company to report late payments if they do not have proof that they provided you copies of your monthly statements no less than 20 days before the payment is actually due. So like you can use that particular law to try to get late payments updated to pay as agreed. Like I said, it's a million ways to skin a cat. But if you do have a good relationship with them, if it's an open account, you'll use a goodwill letter. You can't use a goodwill letter if it's not an open account. It's not gonna work. Shit. Sometimes it don't even work if it is an open account. I need some water, guys. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Oh, let me go check the other comments. Okay. All right. What other questions y'all got for me? I still got some more time left. Let me grab some water. You guys keep posting your comments. Let me grab some water. All right, come on, give me another one. When is the next credit workshop? Oh, that's a good question. So I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I've been so flipping busy, which is a good thing, right? You see the smile on my face. It's a good thing, but at the same time, it's a bad thing. Because I'm not complaining because I asked for all of these lessons. However, it's keeping me from doing a lot of stuff that I like. So I haven't been able to do the free workshops that I do normally every month. I haven't been able to get them done. Because I just literally do not have the time. But I foresee my schedule opening back up after this week. It's just that in March I'm going on vacation, so I probably won't be able to do it. No, probably. I'm not fucking doing it then because I'm going on vacation and I've earned this vacation. God damn it. But what I'm hoping is April is when the workshops will come back and we'll actually have more workshops. So instead of the 3 workshops, for those of you who don't know, I do 3 workshops normally every month. I haven't been able to do them for February, but I do 3 workshops every month. The first one is the Credit ABCs workshop. This one is usually geared towards like high school students, college students, and it's where I break down credit literacy, right? It's not always just about credit repair, right? But if we can get to the kids before they mess their credit up, then we're being proactive instead of reactive, and it eliminates the need for services like the ones I provide, right? So this one, all of my workshops are free, but that's called the Credit ABCs workshop. And then I have one for the ladies that's called the Hot Girl Credit Coach class. With that one, it's the same thing. We go over credit literacy, like things like how to read your credit report, when should you pay your credit cards, what can you use your credit cards for, but we also talk about entrepreneurship with that one specifically. A lot of women requested it, and we talk about building business credit, just like the bare bones of it. We don't go into too much detail because we'll be talking all day. And then for my fellas, it's called Hood Niggas Need Credit Too. With that one, we talk about the same thing, but we also address, if needed, how like child support can affect your credit and some things that you can do, to make sure that you kind of don't get to that part. I have not been able to do it this February. I'm sorry. And I won't be able to do it next month. Yes, see, my birthday is in March and my husband's birthday is in March, but I will be doing one event. This one event. So for those of you who don't know, every February, I do a lot of brainstorming and stuff to come up with a fundraiser, because every March I donate money to the 22 a Day Foundation or Mission 22 or any other suicide prevention program that they have for active duty and veterans. And this is in honor of a friend that I lost some years ago to suicide. So the event that I'm going to be doing this March is going to be like it's going to be a tea party. So for those of y'all who have been following me for a while, y'all know my lives used to be like, oh, the tea on this and the tea on that. And so I'm going to be doing a tea party. It'll probably be 2 tea parties. One is going to be for people who are looking to get into the credit repair space. With this, it's literally going to be a super informal Zoom call. So you'll literally be able to log in and ask me whatever questions you have, literally. Whether it's about building your social media platform or outsource. I don't outsource, so probably don't ask me no fucking questions about that. But like how I formulated my business, my bond, things like that. You can ask me whatever it is you need to know about the credit repair industry, right? How to break into it. And then the second tea party is going to be for people who need to fix their own credit, right? And it's literally going to be something very similar to this, a lot longer and in a lot more detail. So it's going to be me going over the letters. It's very similar to the bad credit boot camp that I did. Probably not as in depth, as it's not going to be over a course of 5 days. But it's going to be me literally answering your questions specifically, telling you exactly what letters, what to type in your letters, et cetera, et cetera. So those dates have not been released yet for March. But those 2 events are going to be happening in March. And then in April, the free workshops are going to come back. I'm working on my credit and want to buy a house by the end of the year or early next year. That's a very good time. It's like a time period. TV shows like Smart Guy, when they do a credit episode, had me on the right track. Listen, they don't even do shit like that no more. I sent out a few letters last week. So to do the factual dispute, I need to wait on the response of the prior letters, correct? Yes, you have to, because you really won't know how to move forward unless you know how they responded. Because remember, you can go any kind of way. Anything can happen with the dispute. They could delete it. Shit. And then you don't have to send anything else. It's really, anything can happen. So do Goodwill's letter work if, do the Goodwill letter if it's still open. If they say no, then what? It's completely within their rights to say no. So if you send in a request for a Goodwill letter and they tell you no, they don't do that, that don't mean give up. Wait a month, send it again. Capital One told me no 3 times before I finally got them to agree to it. And I literally only had 1 late payment. So imagine if you have more than one, you know what I'm saying? So, don't get discouraged just because they told you no that first time. Keep trying. If you are a model customer, like you've never had any issues with them, this is not like you, right? The late payment is very abnormal for your payment history, then they might buckle or bend. Never know. But that is their choice to make. Trinity, I can't see the beginning of your question. All I see is that they sent it to Convergent Outsourcing saying I owe $269. That's all I see. I don't know what the beginning of that question is. I'm a disabled veteran, Desert Storm. Oh, me too. Well, I'm not Desert Storm, but yeah, I'm a disabled vet too. Move up. I did move up. I don't see it at all. I'm not sure if they filtered your question out. It's not above that. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm thinking is TikTok may have filtered your question out by accident. So just kind of like retype it. Did you change the wording of the Goodwill letter each time or keep it the same? When you guys get these templates, you need to make these templates fit whatever your situation is. So for each client, the letter might look a little different depending on whatever their situation was, because you have to insert a reason like, oh, my hours got cut, or I was laid off, or I had COVID, shit like that. Like you have to insert your reason into it. So no 2 Goodwill letters should look exactly the same unless y'all got like the exact same fucking reason. But always try to switch it up a little bit. Look, I'm drinking water, you guys. Y'all know I usually crack open a Pepsi real quick. Healthy choices, healthy choices. For those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with prediabetes a little while ago. Super bummed out because I'm a huge Starbucks, Pepsi junkie. So I'm having to learn moderation and hydration and blah, 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 blah. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm very excited. But yeah. Damn, this must be a long question. Oh, snap. Let me check the other comments. Sorry, guys. Whew. How do you go back? Okay, there we go. Convergent took over the debt saying that you owe $269. So then what you can do with that is that you can request What you can do is you can request I hate when I'm reading comments trying to answer a question at the same time. You can just request a debt validation. Like, all right, fuck it. Since somebody new has it, they need to prove to you that they have everything that they need to collect and report on this debt. So do a debt validation. My BK was filed in 2016. The database for this would be Lexisnexis. So technically, if because I think you were the person we were talking about getting copies of your the bankruptcy documentation. You're not going to get that from LexisNexis. You're going to have to make a Pacer account. You're going to have to go to pacer.gov. This is what I use. You're going to have to get a Pacer account, and you're going to have to search the details of the bankruptcy to see if you can find it. Once you find the case, you can purchase the pages in the case, right? So I think you get like a couple free prints or whatever. After that, you gotta pay like 5 cents or something like that. But you can purchase all the papers associated with it, because remember, this is public domain. You ain't gotta ask your ex-husband for shit. You can literally pull it yourself. Pay a couple cents for the documentation, and that's gonna be the information tied to the bankruptcy that's gonna help you get it removed, because you're not included in that filing. Does that make sense? Now, when you're disputing your bankruptcy, you're supposed to get a copy of your LexisNexis report, because you're supposed to, let's back up a little bit. When you dispute bankruptcies, right? Technically, you're not deleting it, because like I said, it's public domain. It's public information. So what you're actually going to do is hide it. So with LexisNexis, if you restrict their access, so you opt out of LexisNexis, you're restricting their access to certain information, and you're also preventing them from reporting the shit they do find, right? To the credit bureaus. So if you opt out of LexisNexis and then they can't validate or verify that bankruptcy, that makes it so that they can't report that to Experian and Equifax, which means they can't validate or verify the bankruptcy, which means it has to be removed. I mean, specifically for your letter that you sent, did you send the exact same letter you used? Yes. Yes, I did. Like I said, I just tweaked it to fit my situation. So, like that. I'm having trouble. Girl, what am I telling you? I was offered a settlement and couldn't pay. Can I send a letter with an offer to settle now? Yeah. Hell yeah. If you got it now. You can't pay what you don't have. So if you couldn't agree to that before, oh, thank you, Sin. If you couldn't agree to that before, but you got it now, then go for it. My rent plus water is around $15 to $20 a month. I was thinking of putting it in other bills onto my credit card, pay off the next month, but they charge a $43 convenience fee. Is it still a good idea, even with the upcharge? That's one of those personal decisions you got to make. Like I said, I don't really know your finances like that. So if that's something that you can manage to pay off every month, fuck it, go for it. If they allow you to do it, go for it. Thank you so much for the present, Sin. Can you opt out of LexisNexis even without a bankruptcy? Yes, you can. But here's the thing. So a lot of y'all be real obsessed with freezing your reports and opting out and doing all this shit. When it comes time for you to start applying for some things, it could cause problems if they can't get access to your reports. So that is like, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So you guys have to be sure that you know what's that consequence is going to be for that action. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can freeze it, opt out, whatever. But just know that it could play a part in whether or not you're approved or denied for things if they can't have access to certain information. Goldilocks for you, it doesn't matter how long it's been. They might be like, oh, well, since you got money now, we want you to pay this. But you can always, like I said, it's negotiation. So I need to opt out. It's not on LexisNexis. LexisNexis deleted it. So if they deleted it, okay, let's back up for you in your bankruptcy. So one of the steps of disputing a bankruptcy is reaching out to the credit bureaus, not necessarily to dispute it just yet, but asking them, how do they verify bankruptcies? This is where you're going to get TransUnion or whoever it is holding you up. They're going to say, oh, we use LexisNexis. Really? Because that's why you need to have a copy of your LexisNexis with the bankruptcy removed. And you'll say, yo, really? Because LexisNexis is saying they don't see no fucking bankruptcy and they deleted it. So why are you sitting here and saying that LexisNexis validated this bankruptcy for you? Almost knocked over my damn hourglass. Why are you see what I'm getting at? That's why you follow the process, everybody. This is kind of like another example of, following the process. If they skip that first part, they're not going to have that letter. You see what I'm saying? So this is why you kind of follow the whole process. Should I offer what they offered or lower? Always start lower. I always start at 20% of whatever the debt is worth. Always. I don't give a goddamn if it's $100. I don't care. If my client tell me they don't want to pay it all, fuck it. Can I call an offer or write a letter? It's for a car loan. If you call these companies to negotiate a pay to delete or just a payment in general, always, always, always get the terms in writing. So you'll ask them to email it to you if they want, but always get the terms in writing before you pay. They just sent me a copy of my credit report. That's them pretty much saying that it's validated. You need to go through that because it's going to have the results on there too. But yeah, that's not what you asked for. And so that means the way that you they either glossed over your letter, or the way that you asked was not clear, that you're not necessarily disputing it. You're asking them for their process. So you can just resend the letter. Like, hey, you sent me this and that's fine, but I was not disputing the bankruptcy. I was asking, how do you validate bankruptcies? Literally. And then just attach a copy of your original letter. You're so welcome. All right. Making sure I didn't miss no other comments. What other questions y'all got for me? Oh shit, I heard my email going off. Do. Okay. And listen, I'm still going through emails from over the weekend, y'all. So if y'all sent me emails, please just be a little patient with me, because I swear every time it's like every time I get a few steps ahead of my email, I get like hundreds of damn emails. So just give me a little bit of grace, y'all. Should I mention the previous offer? Last question. Hell nah. If they can't remember what they asked you, don't you remind them. Sending letters now for validation on it. Got another one. Hold on. Okay, what's your other question? Got a new collection from a third party. They said they didn't buy the debt. What kind of company is it? If it's a third party and they didn't buy the debt, I have no clue. Ask them. Ask them. Say, hey, if you ain't buy the debt, where the hell did it come from? Y'all, I want a Pepsi so bad. Let me tell y'all. This reminds me of when I quit smoking. Close my door. Hey, close my door. I'm going to get them. Hold on, y'all. Ask your question. Hold on. You sorry? Yeah. Okay. You can go ahead. I'll fix it. Go ahead. I'll fix it. Have a good day. That was my son talking about something. He accidentally opened my door because he didn't know I was still busy. So he tried to close it and couldn't get it closed. I was like, I'm sorry. Suggestions or hacks to disputing rent row accounts. All right. What happened? You gotta tell me what happened first so that I can tell you how to fix it. If TikTok won't allow you to type it all in the comments, DM me on Instagram. I'll pull up my Instagram and then I'll read it and I'll still give you the answer on live. So when I get their responses, do I do the CFPB report against them? Not yet, right? You got to go through the whole process. If you're doing factual disputing, like, you got to go through all of the rounds, right? Get as much evidence as you can and then file your CFPB complaint. Because all the CFPB is going to do, all they got to say is, well, they didn't give us enough time to finish investigating and doing this, that, and the third. And then the CFPB is going to be like, all right, well, you got to get them. They said they're going to investigate, so let them investigate. That's literally what's going to happen. What other questions y'all got for me? Y'all know how I feel. Once y'all stop these questions, I'm gonna fuck off. Alexa, never mind. I was just about to say set a timer, but I already see the alarm set. What other questions you guys got for me? My sister had a collection from an apartment. It was removed from 2 bureaus and is still on Experian. Oh, gag. I hate when that happens. I've been going back and forth for over 2 years. A lot of times they just keep sending, a lot of people don't understand the laws and things like that, especially regarding the time frames. So they play with you. Because they want you to give up. It's in their benefit if you do give up. That's why they try to make the process as hard as possible. I went through a credit repair company and all the stuff that got deleted came back. A lot of ooh, girl. So let's talk about that. Fruity Pebbles. Likely what this person did was considered a credit sweep. This is why it is very, very imperative. Like I said, even with the information that I'm giving y'all, trust but verify. There are specific questions that you need to be asking your credit repair specialist, and if they can't answer them, then maybe they're not the credit person for you, right? Because credit sweeps, if you are an actual credit repair specialist and not just somebody who paid to be a part of like a system or something like that, then you'll know for a fact that when it comes to credit sweeps, those shits is not permanent. And I don't even do them. I tell y'all now, if you're looking for results in 30 days and shit like that, I am not the specialist for you, and I'm open and honest about that. Because what happens is normally with these accounts, they'll usually put them in litigation, or they'll sit there and just initiate disputes. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you dispute something, while it's being investigated, it cannot report. So they'll put that this is in litigation, aka you're in court, and so they'll give you time to handle the situation. And then if they don't hear any updates, and then they reach out to the company, and the company's like, that shit is not in litigation, what you think's gonna happen? They're gonna add the accounts back on. I get that a lot of you are, and I'm not saying this applies to you, Fruity Pebbles, but I get that a lot of you are desperate. A lot of you want to buy homes now. A lot of you want this car or need this car or whatever it is that you need. But you guys, when you don't do it the right way, it always, always, always comes back to bite you in the ass. And that's not even me speaking from a place of privilege. This is not me speaking from a place of privilege. This is me speaking from a place of I've fucking been there. I paid for somebody to do a credit sweep for me. I paid for the fucking CPNs. I paid for the trade lines. I paid Lexington Law, and I still ended up having to do this shit by myself because all the shortcuts I tried to take set me further and further back in the race. Yes, I'll put my email address in the comments for you. So unfortunately, right, all the stuff that's repopulating, it's going to be even more of a detriment to your account because of the fact these are considered fresh. Oh, wait. She posted the part 2. She applied for an apartment. Collection is on rent grow and judgment with county. Oof. Is there also credit sweep? Sounds janky. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Akia speaks. Akia. Removed from 2 bureaus and is still on experience. She applied for an apartment. The collection is on rent grow. So first things first, so technically you would treat this as the advice that I gave for disputing an eviction, right? So first things first, you need to prove that they have everything they need to even report on that fucking debt, right? So you need to do a debt validation letter with the collection company, and they need to provide you a copy of your lease, right? A signed copy of your lease. Now, if they cannot provide a signed copy of the lease, which is considered as this is considered as your promissory note. That's the word I'm looking for. It's considered your promissory note because it ties your sister to this debt, right? So if they provide a copy of your lease, you are then going to go to the original company, right? Before you go back to the collection company, you're going to go to the original company. Look at your lease. For most apartment complexes, right? A part of the move out process or the checkout process, right? A part of closing out your account is to do a move out like checklist with them, right? It's where they go through the apartment, they tell you everything that you're going to have to pay for. You sign a little document saying you acknowledge and you're going to pay this money, and then you move on about your business, right? Now, if they cannot provide a copy of the move out document and it is a part of your lease, then technically that contract was not upheld, meaning they cannot sit here and report a balance because you didn't even go through the proper process of moving me out. And so you can use that to cast doubt. Remember, it's got to be without a shadow of a doubt. So if there's doubt, then there's going to be problems for this company. So that's another way that you can do it. Ask for a breakdown of the charges and not just a spreadsheet that they filled out saying why you owe the money, but you need evidence supporting each claim of what they're saying that your sister owes for. You want to get as detailed as possible into this account so that you can find any little reason to dispute it. And even if you dispute it and get it out collections, you also might want to check the third-party reporting agencies because it could also be on her rent report that she had a balance owed to an apartment complex and stuff like that. How to remove portfolio recovery. They bought the debt and reporting is opening. So portfolio recovery is one of those companies that are known to sue. There are 3 companies that I always tell you guys, be very fucking careful when you guys are disputing with them. LVNV, Midland, and portfolio recovery, because they do sue. I genuinely don't like going toe to toe with these people. But if you want to, go for it. But you need, again, it all works like you need to find something wrong with how it's reporting. You need to find an inaccuracy, an error, or a violation of the FCRA in the way that it is currently reporting. Now, if you can't find any of those things in this account, then your only option with portfolio, LVNV, and Midland is to negotiate a pay to delete. With the pay delete, they likely will require you to pay all of the money that you owe. But in exchange for your money, they will remove the account from your credit report completely. It'll be as if it never existed. So all the points that you lost having this account, you'll get those points back. $894 for an ambulance ride. They sent it to Merchant's Credit Guide in 2018. It was supposed to be paid by insurance. If that was supposed to be paid by your insurance, then you need to find out what happened. You need to find out where the disconnect was. So you get a copy of that bill. You contact your insurance company like, yo, I had a hospital bill that was never paid. I'm trying to figure out why you guys, didn't pay it. If they say they never received the bill, then you go back to the original creditor and you say, legally, you have to give me the opportunity to pay the debt before you send it to collections. And I was never afforded that opportunity because you never forwarded my bill to the insurance company. Why didn't you do that? They need to have a really good fucking explanation, because if they don't, then what's going to end up happening is they're going to have to retract that debt and they're going to have to investigate. And then they're going to have to send that debt to your collection company. I mean, your insurance company, and it's going to have to kind of like work like that. And it's going to go through that process. Was this Lexington credit? They did it to me. Never again. Child, listen, this was a third-party company. Shit, I hate that TikTok does this with the comments. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find where the hell I'm at. I went through the same thing with my old apartment. They sent me a spreadsheet of charges, not my lease. Yep. I got Midland deleting without paying due to they were reporting. Okay, so here's another thing that I really want to let y'all know about. Just because something comes off your credit report does not mean you don't owe it. So a lot of people, they think just because something came off, you don't have to pay. And then you end up with a judgment on your credit report because they sued you and you didn't show up in court because you had no idea about it. So that is another thing that you guys want to be very careful of. If you guys owe somebody fucking money, so if you owe Midland or LVNV or whoever some money, you are always going to want to check that whatever state you live in currently and whatever state you lived in when you accrued that debt, you're always going to want to check their court dockets because your name could pop up. And if you don't show up, they're granted something known as an order of default, meaning whatever it is they're asking for, they're going to receive because you never showed to oppose their claim. So that is something else I kind of really need you guys to understand. Oh, haha, you're still alive. Yeah, I'm still alive. That's so funny. I'm still alive. Midland bought my account. They're not allowed to collect in our state with the law. Yep. So then likely what's going to happen with that Midland debt is they'll probably sell it to somebody who can collect. And that's another thing. Just because the company's like, you know what? You right. We don't have what we need to collect on this debt, so we're going to go ahead and let you go. That don't mean that shit is not going to pop back up. That's not what that means. Because these companies, you know what's going to end up happening? They're either going to send the debt back to the original creditor, who's going to sell it to somebody else, or they're going to sell it to somebody else. So there's that. What other questions you guys got for me? I've been doing really good with the water, y'all. Be right back. Gotta add you on YouTube and Instagram. Okay. I'll be here. I ain't going nowhere. What other questions y'all got for me? Come on, y'all know I love a challenge. Come on, y'all. Give me a challenge. And I know I haven't posted on TikTok. I didn't post on TikTok yesterday, man. I've really been struggling with this health shit. But I'm getting back on my everyday posting. It's definitely gonna. That's another reason why I wanted to, especially on Instagram. Y'all know I never go live on Instagram, but I wanted to go live on Instagram so I could answer all the questions that I've been missing on my posts, and to let you guys know that I'm gonna go back to everyday posting starting tomorrow. TikTok might get a post today because somebody asked me a question, but yeah, the everyday post will start it back up again tomorrow. At least a post a day, as well as making sure I post on my Instagram story. You need a couch if you don't have one for health. Huh? A couch? What I need a couch for? I got a couch downstairs. What online credit monitoring service do you recommend? IDIQ be tripping. So I personally like Smart Credit, right? But it doesn't provide you your FICO score. So I also have my FICO for the companies that track FICO scores and not Vantage scores. I personally like Smart Credit just for how they present the information to me. It makes it very easy for me to understand. It's very user friendly. I also use it for like the identity monitoring. I have been a victim of identity theft multiple times. My identities was one of the ones in the original OPM breach with the government some years ago, as well as T-Mobile just love passing my shit out apparently. So I use it for multiple reasons, but I love smart credit. And then when I need to track my FICO scores, I just use my FICO. My FICO is kind of expensive too, hell. So I don't need a health coach. I need better health care. Let's talk about that. That's cool. That's cool though. Because I definitely started getting into the advocating space, right? So it's going to be a lot of trips up to Capitol Hill to start advocating for vets because how they treat us in this healthcare system is shitty. Definitely better healthcare. I was talking to my husband the other day and I was like, yeah, I'm about to get me a job because I want a real job. I always play with people and I'm like, yeah, I ain't got no job. Because I don't. I love doing it, so it doesn't even feel like work for me. But I was playing with my husband the other day. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get me a job. Probably get on with a police department some fucking where or something just for healthcare. Literally, just for the healthcare. How do I pull this to make it longer? There we go. I have a paid in full letter with agree to delete. What letter should I send? It's been over 60 days. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to make a copy of that letter and you're just going to send a letter to the credit bureaus with that letter attached to each credit bureau that is reporting that debt. And you're going to say, hey, I paid this debt. Here is proof of my payment as well as proof of the agreement that we had where if I paid, they would remove it. It's been 60 days and it's not removed. Please delete this as it is violating the rights given to me under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Boom. That's it. The choice program got me a bill. I need to see if it's paid. Bruh! Man, we're not even about to get into that. Because I definitely just got a bill from me going to the dentist back in October that was not paid. And I definitely have dental. I definitely have fucking dental. So yeah, the VA, I mean, not the VA, but TRICARE period can just kiss my ass at this point. Ooh, another email. Let's go. I'm trying to make sure I answer everybody's questions. I'm switching about and forth. I'm switching back and forth to all these different apps. Y'all know what? Whenever I'm live, so for those of you who are new, welcome. If you don't really know me like that, my name's Markia. Hey girl, hey. I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media. I'm a board certified credit repair specialist and credit score consultant. And so I fix credit for a living. And so just because you can't afford credit repair doesn't mean you don't deserve good credit, right? And so I use my platform to educate you guys, to teach you both sides of the coins, right? A lot of these people who are on social media who are credit repair gurus, right? You only see one half of the story. They're like, oh, you can delete these things without having to pay for them. But what they're not telling you is that when you don't pay, you run the risk of getting sued or losing even more points once it's sold to collections, et cetera, et cetera. And so my job is to make sure you guys have the entire picture so that you can make better decisions for yourself, right? Because there's no one size fits all with credit repair. Can you scroll up a little to respond to my question? Daphne, this is my first time ever seeing you pop up. So what I'm guessing is that TikTok filtered your question out. So you're going to have to re-ask it because I don't see any other comments from you. I'm 100% with VA, but I don't trust them. They take it away quick, then charge you for their mistakes. Yeah, you ain't lying. How many credit cards are good to have? That depends on what your goals are. As well as, because I know somebody's going to ask me, you guys ask me every live, so I'm going to go and get this question out. Listen, stop asking me what credit cards are the best credit cards because it's all dependent on you. And what I mean by that is before you guys start applying for cards, I know y'all get in these credit repair groups and you see these people who get this card and this card with this high balance and this high balance. And then y'all staying up till midnight to apply for Navy Federal. Like, you don't have to do all that. You first need to sit down with yourself and identify your current spending habits, right? Identify your current lifestyle. What do you spend your money on the most, right? What are some things that you consistently spend your money on? I always tell people, you know how you do like a food journal? Do a money journal. I know people used to walk around with checkbooks back in the day. I'm talking about myself back in the day. But do something like that. Every time you swipe your card, write down what you spent your money on. And then after about a week or so, I want you to look at what you spend your money on and I want you to categorize it as like food, bills, gas, groceries, things like that. Categorize your spending. And then I want you to look at cards that, companies you want to build relationships, companies that you wouldn't mind having. Everybody want an Amex, right? Look at what their requirements are. Look at Chase. What's another good bank to have long term? Capital One, right? Look at your ideal goal, right? Look at your best, like, I want this card. This is the goal, right? This is the goal. Now we got to start determining what steps are going to get you there. Because if you have bad credit, the cards you qualify for now, You're going to qualify for better ones later. But what cards do you qualify for now? So you're going to look at the perks that they offer. Do they offer you cash back? Are you a miles girl? Are you a points girl? Like, what do you want, right? And what cards can give you those things? Interest rates. You're going to want to compare interest rates. Now, if you have bad credit, unfortunately, high interest rates is just something that's going to be a common occurrence for you. So just kind of expect it, but also be a hyper aware. You don't have to accept this card if the terms are just out of the question for you. Annual fees. Just because a card has annual fees does not mean it's not a beneficial card. And again, you got to act your credit score, right? You cannot have champagne dreams on a water budget. Okay. So you kind of got to take what you can qualify for. But every card that you open up has to be on the path to getting you to your ideal card. So you do not have to open up 5 credit cards right now, right? You don't have to. You can open up 1 credit card right now, hold on to it, wait a couple months, you get a better score, get another credit card that's going to add to your score, do it like that, and do it like, keep building on it. But all of those questions, what cards should I get? How many cards benefit me? All of those things are personal questions that you need to ask yourself. Because I tell people all the time, there's no point in you having 20, 30 credit cards if you're not actively using them. A credit card is only valuable when you're actually using them. And a lot of people are like, well, I get a credit card and I ain't used it in years. And you're going to feel real dumb when they close your shit out due to inactivity. If you have more cards than you can use, then you need to close some of them. Yeah, it's going to hurt your credit when you close them, but I would rather it hurt your credit now as opposed to later when it's a surprise because due to inactivity, they closed your account out because there's no benefit for them. This needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship between you and your lender. And so if they're not benefiting from it at any point in time, and it's literally in your contract, they can close your account out and not even tell you why. They don't have to tell you why or tell you beforehand. If Best Buy sells it to a different creditor, now they suing me. Can I call Best Buy and pay them? No. For a lot of companies, they sell the debt and the rights to collect on that debt to the collection company. So if you call Best Buy, they're gonna be like, "Yo, we can't take a payment because we don't own that debt anymore." You're going to have to contact the company that you now owe. And remember, just because you received a notice that you're going to court does not mean that they're not willing to negotiate. So you can call them or write a letter or whatever the case may be and be like, "Listen, I received this notification that y'all taking me to court. Let's talk. Let's talk turkey. I'm willing to settle. What's up?" Some will settle and some will be like, "See you in court." For a lot of people, them taking you to court is a scare tactic because they know you're either not going to show up or you're going to try to hurry up and settle before your court date. Start taking these motherfuckers to court. The same thing you're doing in the dispute process is the same thing you can do in court. You can go to court and be like, "Your Honor, I'm asking them to validate the debt. I'm asking them to provide me all the proof that they have that ties me to this debt." And they're going to give you a copy of whatever it was they brought to court that day, and you're going to go through it. And if they do not have a copy of the promissory note or something tying you to this debt, guess what that judge going to say? Case dismissed. They don't owe you shit because you can't even prove that they owe you anything. Don't be afraid just because they're taking you to court. Put on your cleanest outfit and go to court. What other questions y'all got for me? My friend has 5 American Express cards. Shit, I was crying tears when I got my first one. Shit, American Express. Whew. Is this all stuff you do in the credit repair package? So fixing your credit, yes. Rebuilding your credit, no. Rebuilding is all on you. So when you guys get credit repair, for a lot of you who don't really understand how it works, I can repair. But if you are not building properly, right? If you're not building properly, if you don't understand the concepts behind the rebuilding, if you just be doing shit to be doing shit, it's not gonna work for you. Can't just throw money at the problem and think that's gonna solve it. It's not. Because credit building and credit repair go hand in hand. So I can help you with the rebuilding. I can even help you with some of the, I can help you with the repairs, sorry. And I can even help you with some of the rebuilding. But you are overall responsible for improving your credit. I can only help you get there. You'd be surprised how many people give me money and I never hear from them again. Literally never hear from them again. So then I'm just kind of sitting here like, well, okay. Oh, okay, Katie. Well, If you click the link in my bio, there is a page on my website that says become a client, and it outlines the different tiers of service I provide, as well as there's a web form that you can fill out if you are interested in services. And it's the same thing for if you just want an audit. A credit audit is where you and I sit down on Zoom. We kind of talk about the current, what your goals are and stuff like that. And then we look at the current state of your credit report and we talk about how you can get to that next page, that next stage, right? So both of those services are available on my website. And you'll have to fill out a web form associated with each one and then, schedule an appointment, blah, blah, blah. I have more questions, but I got a doctor appointment. I have all notifications on. You can always send me a Q&A on TikTok. You can comment on a video on YouTube, whatever you need. My kid is 4. What age should I start her credit? So you got to go to your lenders, right? So for most parents, what I always suggest is if you have a card that has 100% on-time payment history and consistently low reporting credit utilization, then you can add your children on as an authorized user to kind of give them that boost with their score. That way, by the time they graduate at 18, they actually have a credit score and can get their own card. Because remember, they are going to eventually have to get their own accounts. In order for lenders to start taking them seriously, they need to have some kind of financial responsibility. Now, 4 is obviously too early for most lenders. I'm not gonna say all because I don't know off the top of my head, but most lenders require that they at the very least be a teenager, so 13 or something like that. But if you do some research, or you can even call them and say, hey, what's the youngest I can add on an authorized user? They'll tell you. Would you ever take on a credit repair client without doing the audit first? Yes. So whenever you guys fill out the web form, so to become a client, an audit is not required. An audit is not required to become a client. The audit, a lot of people do the audit because they don't even know if they need repair. They don't know if this is something that they can do themselves, et cetera, et cetera. So if you aren't interested in the audit, you can literally just go to the credit repair page, fill out the web form, and then you'll receive notifications from the portal. Oh, upload this, add your credit monitoring, woo. You can either tell me what tier of service you want, or I can go in and look at your credit report and tell you what tier of service would best benefit you. And then from there, I would send out the very first letter that goes out is your personal information update letter. And then what's going to end up happening if you don't respond, if you don't say, hey, I got this in that my personal information was updated, or whatever the case may be, then we schedule for your first initial appointment. It's going to be a Zoom call, and then we talk about the process and how round 1 is going to go and blah, 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 blah. What's your YouTube? So my YouTube is WWTMPD. What would the money plug do? So if you guys missed the beginning part of the live, if you're just now following me, hey girl, hey. But all of the lives that I do on TikTok are multi-streamed. So it's usually streamed to I'm not on Twitch today. Sorry, I had it set up to something else. But I am on Facebook and YouTube currently so that you guys can go back and watch the playback. I'm also live on Instagram, but sorry, Instagram, they never let me save my lives. I think I just be on too long. So you're probably going to have to go on YouTube as well. A utility company sent my account to a collection company for cable equipment. They say I never returned, but my tracking information confirms receipt. Where should I start with disputing? You're going to want to take a copy of that tracking information, and you're going to want to go to the original creditor. You're going to say, yo, you sold this debt based on, first, you're not even going to expose yourself like that. What you're going to do is you're going to reach out to them and be like, hey, you are reporting that you sold a debt to a collection company for something that I owe, right? Where's your proof? What is it for? They're gonna be like, oh, it's for equipment and equipment that you never turned in. So fucking funny you said that, because right here I have, boom. You see what I'm saying? So you'll give them the copy of the confirmation of receipt for the equipment. So if I have proof that I sent you this equipment, you're gonna have to update that. I don't owe you shit. This is one of those instances where giving them the evidence up front is more beneficial than dragging out the repair process. I'm on FB, IG, and TikTok. I don't know why. Listen, thank you for the support. Listen, the reason why I'm able to get on live and give you guys all this information for free and don't have y'all paying $1,000 for some fucking courses or services and stuff like that is because of the likes and the shares and the views and stuff like that. Because you guys share my content, I'm able to monetize my platforms. And so this is why I'm able to do these kind of things. So all the likes and shares and stuff like that's money for me. So the more y'all do that, right, the more I'm able to go live and kind of share this information for you guys. While I do have some paid workshops that go more in depth, I'm really trying to refrain from charging you guys for a lot of this stuff. So the more support I get, the more deals I get and stuff like that, then I have, the freedom of being able to provide you guys with all this information for free. What other questions y'all got for me? What time is it? Okay, I got another hour. We can do this for another hour. Let's go. It's really killing me that I can't have a Pepsi. Oh shit, the podcast. So I haven't been posting any new updates. Like I said, I've really been struggling with my health. So I have some recordings, but I just sound so lethargic in them. For those of you who don't know, I've really been struggling with this whole pre-diabetes things. I do have a podcast. It's the same name as my YouTube channel, WWTMPD. What would the money plug do? There are some episodes up. I'm currently re-recording the episodes that I've been recording for the last, I think it's 2 weeks. And then they're going to be going up one by one. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to 2 a week until I'm all caught up or just continue to do the 1 a week, but YouTube and the podcast will be getting some new information. The podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as well as Google. If you have Anchor, you can find me on anchor.fm /THEE Money Plug. So the Money Plug, if you follow me on Instagram, it's my Instagram name. But yeah, so the name of the podcast is WWTMPD. What would the money plug do? And there's already some content up, but I have so much more I want to do with you guys. So I'm super excited, including I want to do something a little... Y'all gonna stop talking about my accent. One of my friends called me. They text me today. They almost got me too. They text me and was like, I want you to send me a voice recording with what day it is and how many TikTok followers you have so that when you blow up, I can always have this recorded. And at first I thought they was just being sentimental because my friends are like that. But then I thought about it like, damn, what is today? And then I thought about what today is. And as I was recording it, I realized why he wanted me to record it is because of my Baltimore accent and what date today is, right? I'm not going to fucking say it. Y'all not going to get me to say it. But so yeah, he just wanted to make fun of me. So fuck you, friend. My military friends are shitheads, but I love you guys. But yeah, so if y'all know anybody from Baltimore, text them today or send them a voice message and be like, yo, what day is today? Or just like, can you send me a video of you telling me what's today? Just ask them that. It's funniest shit ever. Funniest shit ever. Hey, what's up, Rogers? I didn't even see that. What's up, Rogers? What credit score for an Amex? It depends. And again, don't only look at your credit score. You also want to look at your credit profile because there are things that can instantly disqualify you no matter what your fucking score is, right? So if you have too many inquiries, even though the inquiries will only affect your score one time if you apply for all of these things within a 30 to 45 day window, right? Having too many inquiries in a 12-month time period can still get you declined for things. So that's something you also want to take into account. It also depends on what Amex card you're looking for. So do your research. Just do your research. That's the biggest thing I can give you guys. What other questions you got? Those flashing lights, man. I don't know why that is stuck in my head. That song is so old. All right, I just wanted to make sure I'm answering all the questions. All right, what other questions you guys got for me? Because y'all know how I do. If y'all don't got no questions, I'll be getting off quick. Y'all can't let it get too quiet in here. I ain't talking to myself. What other credit questions you guys have? Oh, I got candy. I'm not, well, I guess. What day is today? I'm not going to say it. Y'all not about to make me say it. No, I'm not going to say, I almost said it. I almost said it. Fun. Okay, so I am going to say it because it's funny as hell. So, all right, so the Hulu Twitter page, right? I don't know who the fuck is their social media strategist, yo, but that shit was so funny because Black Twitter was up in an uproar about how people from Baltimore say Hulu. And so they literally changed their Twitter name to HEWLEW, trying to make fun of people from Baltimore. I thought that shit was funny. The shit was hilarious to me. I heard that disputing through Credit Karma is a bad way to dispute. What are your thoughts? When you dispute online, this is why I hate when you guys tell me that you disputed online. And for all these people who be like, you can get stuff deleted in 10 minutes. This is what the credit bureaus don't want you to know. The credit bureaus don't give a fuck. And you don't know why? Because you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. When you dispute online, you actually kind of void some of the rights given to you by the FCRA. You waive them. Nobody ever reads the fucking terms and conditions on these websites when you guys are submitting your disputes or doing whatever it is you're doing on these websites. And so You don't realize that once the account is validated because you disputed online, there's no way for you to go back and dispute whatever it was they said was the reason that it was validated. You're fucking stuck with it. Not only that, that erase the deletion that you got, that is known as a soft removal. So yes, Credit Karma will stop reporting it, but why the fuck are you checking your Credit Karma anyway? If you pull up your Smart Credit or your Experian or your Equifax or TransUnion, you'll still see that fucking account. You know why? Because Credit Karma is not accurate anyway. Not only that, a soft removal is when they remove it due to the fact that they are investigating this account, not because you won the dispute. So then when it repopulates, a lot of y'all be looking like, what? It was a soft removal. Doesn't always mean that it's gonna come back, but it is a huge possibility that it will, especially if you low-key didn't have a reason to dispute it anyway. So there's that. Is it better to ask for a pay to delete when cleaning up credit? Only with collections. Remember, you cannot do that with original creditors. You can only do it with collections. That's a good one. How do I remove very old late student loan payments? I'll be 1,000 with you, right? You're gonna have to contact Navient. For the most part, they do have programs where it will allow you to rehabilitate your loans. If you make like a certain amount of payments on time, they will remove the derogatory remarks associated with your account, so the late payments and things like that. But not guaranteed. And with federal student loans, it's so hard to dispute those because when you owe the government money, let me tell you, they keep every fucking document you can think of. So just know that when you owe the government money, they make sure they have everything they need to report and collect because they want their coins. But you can always try to force them to verify the late payments by requesting copies of your payment history. Or like I said, you can kind of contact them to see if they have any rehabilitation programs. Are any of those free credit scores accurate? I was told Discovery is the most accurate. It depends. Oh shit, my laptop's gonna die. It just honestly depends. They'll tell you exactly what score they're showing you. Each lender, looks at a different score. So one lender might look at your FICO 8. One lender might look at your FICO 9. If it's an industry specific score like your mortgage scores, they look at your FICO 2, 4, and 5. So it just really depends on what you're applying for and what score they monitor, right? So if Discover shows your FICO 8 or your FICO 9, then yeah, that's mad accurate because most lenders use those scores. But if they're showing you your Vantage score and you know for a fact that this lender only looks at FICO, then no, it's not beneficial for you. I do not need this candy, but I need this candy. It's bad enough I can't have Pepsi. I'm being a rebel. What other questions you guys got for me? The other day, I went live on here, and I was talking for like 5 minutes straight, and nobody told me, but my microphone was muted, and I had no fucking clue. Until finally somebody on TikTok said something. I was like, nobody could have said anything to me. Like, damn. Is it true that if your student loan is purchased by another company, you can dispute and not pay? You can dispute anything, and you don't have to pay anything. Doesn't mean it's not going to work out. It's going to work out in your favor. So if your student loan is purchased by another company, what happens is that your current loan servicer, right? They sold the rights to collect your debt and the right, like your actual debt to this company. So legally, you owe this new company now. If you choose not to pay, you choose not to pay. But and if you choose to dispute, you choose to dispute. But if you do dispute and they validate that debt, then there's literally nothing else. You have no leg to stand on. You're going to have to pay these people. Does that make sense? But all they need is a copy of the promissory note. If they got a copy of the promissory note and proof that they bought this debt from the people who originally serviced your loan or whoever owned it before them, then there's nothing you can do. Let's make sure. I'm in Be More also. I'm loving your live. I came over from TikTok. You're awesome. Oh, thank you. What other questions y'all got for me? Damn, I swear I just looked up and it was 2:40. It's fucking 2:53. Jesus. I got like an hour. A little less than that. I want to have a bathroom break. What other questions y'all got for me? Mm, 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 mm. All right, now, if I don't got no questions, y'all know me. I'm famous for getting the fuck off. I have inquiries on my report. How do I get them removed? Oh, super good question. I could actually show you. Let's see. I got a lot of windows open. Hold on. Let me close some of these windows. All right. So removing inquiries. Now, what the thing that you need to know about inquiries is the law of permissible purpose. The law of permissible purpose states that a company has to have your expressed consent in order to see an entire copy of your credit report. They can see like an abridged version, which is normally what they see when it comes time for like pre-approvals and things like that. However, in order to report to your credit report that they've pulled a copy of your credit report, they need your expressed consent to do so. So, if a company cannot produce, I hear my son on my door. If a company cannot produce the proof that you gave them consent, then they have to remove the inquiry. And that's where this letter comes in. Boom. So recently, I looked at a copy of my credit report and noticed some inaccurately reporting information. I never authorized the following companies to check my credit rating. Please remove them from my credit profile immediately. Now, this particular letter came about because somebody was saying that they went to the car dealership with a pre-approval and they asked them could they run it through Capital One, and they ran it through everybody else. Now, obviously, it's a template. It's a template. I don't know why I broke that down like that. It's a template. So if that particular situation doesn't apply to you, you can always reword it. So you can say, yo, I pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm seeing some inquiries that I have no recollection of, right? Because technically you're not lying. So I have no recollection of, and then you list the inquiries. Now, sometimes what ends up happening when you do this, right, is that these companies will come back and say like, yo, the bureaus will come back and say, listen, if you got a problem with these inquiries, you're going to have to take it up with these companies because we're just reporting what they told us, which honestly, okay, it's a cop out. However, if that happens, then the next letter that you can send, and this is going to go directly to the creditors, is this. This is an, sorry, wrong letter. Shit, I just showed the same one. Window, and here it is. No, why is it showing the same thing? Exit. There we go. Oh, this was the right one. I don't know why the other one was popping up for me. So you'll send this one directly to the creditor. You do not have to put the last four of your social on each of these letters. I only use that as an additional form of verification. If you guys are comfortable with that, you can take that out. To whom it may concern, according to my most recent credit report, your company is currently reporting to the 3 credit bureaus that I applied for credit with your organization. I do not recall granting you this authorization to review my credit report. And listen, you may not have an account number. That's fine. You can take that out. You can just say re-inquiries. Like these letters that I have in these kits are just letters that I've typed up for people and put together. According to my most recent credit report, your company is currently reporting to the 3 credit bureaus that I apply for credit with your organization. I do not recall granting you this authorization to review my credit report. The Fair Credit Reporting Act requires that a creditor be able to verify the written authorization of the consumer, giving the creditor permission to review their credit. If you can provide a copy of a credit application authorizing the disclosure of my credit files with my signature, I will accept the inquiry. If you can't provide that shit, take it off. That's pretty much what this letter saying. And it gives them 30 days. However, we all know that with COVID, they have 45 days now. So there's that. But that is the letter that you're going to send to remove inquiries. If you do not already type, like if you're not going to type them up yourself, I do have templates on my website. If you click the link in my bio, you can kind of download my DIY templates. They are available for purchase. I have an entire kit. I have 3 different kits, one for student loans, one for bankruptcies, and one's for everything outside of those 2 things. And then I do have some letters that by popular demand, people were requesting individually, so that they wouldn't have to purchase the entire kit. I do have some of those on there as well. So it's okay to do a pay to delete with the collection agency. Yes. But just know that that is at the agency's discretion. So they can easily be like, yo, fuck you. No, I'm not deleting it. Literally, they could say that. Okay. I'm making sure I'm answering every question. Okay. You are so welcome. My friend has student loans from fraud. Someone at the school took loan down in his name. Anything he could do to fix that or dispute that? So first things first, file a police report. That is always a requirement when you are claiming identity theft. Then he's going to want to go to FTC. I'm going to put the website in the comments. FTC.gov. This website, right, has so much information for victims of identity theft and what you can do to kind of buff up your claims of identity theft, things that you can add to your profile and stuff like that. To help you with your claims when it comes to these creditors. And then you are going to reach out to your friend is going to have to reach out to the loan servicer, and they're going to have to say, listen, I've been a victim of identity theft. These does not belong to me. What is your policy regarding identity theft? And what do I need to fill out? Because some companies have like a very specific policy on things that you need to fill out or provide them in order for them to even take your dispute seriously. What other questions you guys got for me? Dang, I gotta use the bathroom. It's all this water, bro. So good for you, though. So good for you. What other questions y'all got? A little bit of love is worth a moment of your time. I don't know why that's stuck in my head. I swear. I just been here listening to music, working. All right, if y'all don't got no more questions, y'all know I'm gonna get the hell off. You're so welcome. I genuinely love what I do. Like, I genuinely love getting on here, talking to you guys, answering your questions in the videos and stuff like that. Follow Fitman Cook on YouTube, IG. He has great meal plan tips. Oh, okay. Hold on. Fitman Cook on YouTube and IG. Okay, I'm definitely gonna look that up. Yeah, because it's been freaking killing me. I'll tell you that, man. Having to adjust my diet and all that stuff. I'm upset. Nah, I'm gonna get through this just like everything else, I guess. So wake up call. I'll tell you that shit though. It really makes you evaluate like the decisions you're making. I got way too many kids for me to be clocking out early. All right, well, if y'all don't got no more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off, you guys. As always, thank you guys so much for the support. The only reason I'm able to even get on lives and sit here and talk to you guys for hours at a time about this kind of stuff is because of you sharing my content, liking my content, commenting with your questions, giving me more ideas for content. All of these things have allowed me to monetize my platform, and this gives me more and more freedom to just release as much of this information for free as possible. So thank you guys so much for all of your support over the last year. It means so much to me. I'm literally just a small business. It's literally just me. I don't have any virtual assistants. I don't have a manager. It's literally just me doing all this. So it means so much to me that you guys support me as much as you do. If you got on the lives late, if you missed some things, maybe you missed the entire live. As soon as I get off live, it's going to be available on YouTube for you to view. It's the very last video because I'm streaming live on YouTube currently. It's also going to be available on my Facebook page, The Money Plug, and then you should see me like this. No, I'm like this. I think I'm like this in my picture. No, I don't know what the hell I am in my picture, but you'll see me. Listen, I only got like 3 pictures I circulate through. I think I took my arm folding picture down because it made me look like I do taxes, because y'all know it's tax time, so everybody taking pictures like that. So I think I took that down and put something else up. I don't want nobody thinking I do taxes, because I don't. But thank you guys so much for your support over the last year and a half. Like I said, like it just means so much to me that you guys actually listen to what I say. And that I'm providing a value for you guys. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. My email address is Markia B, so MARKIA and the letter B at themoneyplug.co. If you are on Instagram or TikTok, you can always click the link in my bio. That'll take you to my website and you can kind of poke around. There are a couple things, like a lot of buttons that I have for you guys to take a look at, or you can just poke around the website if you're interested in services or just kind of want to see what I do. As well as if you are not on either of those platforms, you can just go to www.themoneyplug.co. That's my website. You can kind of poke around, look, see what's going on. But again, thank you guys so much. If I do have time this evening, if I have time this evening, it's a huge if, I'll probably go live again. If not, you guys probably won't see me again until Thursday. So if you have any questions, you can email them to me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or I might post a video about it. You never know. But thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you guys later. And now.